What is up? Welcome to Discover Crypto, the Blockchain Basement. We got Gavin Newsom hinting at a California meme coin coming out. What is going on? Is this the top signal? Is that the end of the markets as we know it? Also, an emergency announcement. Everyone's looking for what Trump's going to say today at 2 p.m. We're going to dive into some of the possibilities, some of the likely conversation points of 2 p.m. when the KOL from hell, the orange one himself, takes the stage and sends the market adrift. Now we have so much to cover, folks, plus some big announcements for Ondo coming up in just one day. Some major rollouts coming out for Ondo. Putting up a little bit of a fight on the charts right now, but really, let's take a look at what's being rolled out, see if it has longevity, see if it has any potential of being instituted into what we know as money today. Welcome to the show, everybody. I got some peeps up here. DCA and Pray, good to see you. I love it. If you're going to invest in World Liberty Fi, just send me your money. Shout out to that. Also, Isaac, he is banished to moving the main studio this morning. Isaac is out there moving. He actually might come in here and bug me here in a bit, but he's out there working hard. And you know what? He started early. Hard working. Like to see it there. I spent a lot of the weekend here cleaning up the yard, getting things done. I fought Joro spiders. It was crazy. If you guys aren't already, please do give me a follow here on my Twitter account at Druth Crypto. And I did host an emergency show on Mariana Falls Roundtable Spaces with Kelly Kellum. We had a lot of great speakers on there. We had Quentin 048.eth. He, great insight on the World Liberty Fi token, the rollout. It was great having him on the show here. And all the big wigs, and then you got your boy Drew as the host. Crazy times, but make sure to give me a follow there, follow up with that. And how are the markets looking right now? Let's just get a good vibe check from the overall landscape. ETH still slightly down on the day, but it's nice to see the smaller cap altcoins really kind of catching their stride here, doing relatively well in light of Bitcoin and its transgressions over the weekend. Now, as things sit right now, actually, I just got stopped out of a Bitcoin cash short. So that is, that's how I know the real animal spirits are coming in. Bitcoin cash short. Honestly, still made money off of the short, though. The great trade call from an absolute savage of the charts. John, you beast, giving great trades this morning. Make sure to click the link to join our Discovered Investments Group Discord to get those trade-in signals as well. It keeps me active, keeps my greedy little hands off my spot bags. And you know what? The knowledge of trading is something that you can carry with you to every single market forever, right? There's always going to be a trade out there. Now, always going to be something out there, including a Joro spider. I don't know if you guys know, I'm in Georgia. I'm fighting these things by the hundreds on my property right now. So a quick moment of silence for the battle between Drew and the Joro spiders. You know what? I'm not going to sit there and cut a tree down and have one of these things show up on my face and take me up. All right, it's not happening. Also, make sure to follow Discover Crypto. We have essentially a brotherhood of channels. I would call it that. Between Discover Crypto, the DeFi Crypto and Airdrops channel, of course, your boy Blockchain Basement. And you know what? I'm going to be setting up a live time frame to go back and do lives for Blockchain Basement. Might do later at night live streams on the Blockchain Basement. Let me know if you're in the chat. Should I bring the Blockchain Basement back, but just do the night streams, right? When the creatures come out? That's kind of how it all began there. But also BitLab Academy. This is where you can get all your basic market education and so much more from Kelly Kellum. Make sure to give all these channels a like, a follow, and subscribe. Now let's get into it. What the hell are we talking about? California meme coin sounds ridiculous, right? Well, let's have a listen and let's talk about this as a family here. This is Gavin Newsom, California governor, California leader, Gavin Newsom launching a meme coin. Let's get it out.
The real prediction is, we're about to put a meme coin out. And you know what, Donald Trump, we'll see how well your coin does versus our coin. You know what, Donald Trump, we'll see. And you know what, Donald Trump, we'll see how well.
Okay, so he seems serious. All right, so he's talking about a rollout of a meme coin, a little bit of aggravation. He's like, This dirty Republicans are rolling out coins and making money. And as for the World Liberty Fi token where it sits I'm not buying it. It's new. I didn't get pre-sale. I'm not buying it until I can get some more data and more market information on World Liberty Fi, honestly. Like looking at the chart for World Liberty Fi, if 20 cents is lost, you're going into price discovery to the downside. But let's read into this. Gavin Newsom, a little bit aggravated, probably caught those words from Elizabeth Warren. Why California wants to launch a Trump corruption coin, not just making it a California coin. This is what happened. If you constantly focus on the person you hate, you give them more power. Gavin Newsom, you know what? I dislike you. You do not merit enough value for me to even pay attention to what it is that you want. Obviously, I would never vote for you or work alongside California policies. Now he wants to launch a Trump corruption coin. Literally, Trump is living rent-free in Gavin Newsom's head and many other Democrats for the remainder of how long Trump lives, right? And then here's where it gets better, is then you're going to have the sons of Trump in the political theater, right? They're being positioned in major monetary positions. World Liberty Fi, yeah, it's going to have a rough start. It's a token release, a token generation event. Those are always chaos, right? But the long-term vision, World Liberty Fi coming in at number 30 or number 40 with billions of dollars, like they're set up, they're starting off with billions of dollars. There is a long-term, large outlook for DeFi application that is much beyond the meme coins in this front-end battle that Gavin Newsom wants to pull here. According to Newsom, Trump's long record of engagement with crypto firms has created an environment ripe for conflicts of interest. This is just jaw-dropping, and none of this is normal. Again, none of this is funny. I mean, it's funny in one respect, but it's also extraordinary what's going on. It's jaw-dropping, Newsom stated. Now, Newsom also suggested the members of the Trump family have entered into digital asset deals timed to coincide with policy decisions such as tariffs, right? Now, reading into it, so he's highlighting there's a potential large-scale conflict of interest of Trump and his tariffs on other nations causing market chaos, and also his positioning within the market, right? So now Trump's involvement with the blockchain projects expanded considerably since his return to office in January. He's promoted initiatives like World Liberty Financial Platform and USD1 stablecoins, rolled out that juicy Trump meme coin that nearly went to $100. We hit $88 on Trump coin, and that was like the craziest overnight meme coin experience that because I noticed that the Trump coin was real on a live space. I was hosting it with Kelly again, and got in like 6 cents, saw that thing run to $80. Now Trump coin, the meme, they say it's rugged. The Trump meme is still within the top 100. You can't say something is rugged if it's still literally within the top 100. Where is it at here? Let's just actually go snooping around. So there's a stable coin, so crazy, number 41. Here's the actual project, World Liberty Financial. Where is it at? Official Trump tokens at number 57. I think this one, I actually saw it a little bit higher. Here it is, number 27. So this token just came out and it ranks number 27 in terms of market cap. I mean, that is not a drop in a bucket of water. Like that is it's a lot of money to come out of the gate swinging with $5 billion. Right now, the fully diluted sits at $22.8 billion and the market cap at 5.62. So with World Liberty Fi's rollout, there's been so many arguments, finger pointing from Elizabeth Warren, especially on the conflict of interest Trump has. Now Eric Trump, the vocal one, and this is likely going to be Eric Trump, the Trump sons kind of taking the torch and running with it. And then essentially, Trump probably going to have to stay on the outside of this. David Sachs on the All In podcast, probably going to not be able to acknowledge this rollout here because this is rolled out separately. And really, this is getting integrated with a lot of different crypto ecosystems that are not only in the United States, but also World Liberty Financial hooking its talons and its long-term outlook into Tron, right? The Southeast Asia crypto market. So some interesting moves are going on right now, regardless of these angry Democrats. Now, the question is, do we buy the California shitter token here? Do we buy the Trump corruption coin? I'm staying away from it. I'm staying away from most of these damn meme coin rollouts. They don't really ever end up doing me a bit of good unless I'm in and out. You know what I mean? Unless I'm really, very selective on how much time I spend in them. Democrats contend the overlap between these. So this is all just a bunch of complaints and highlighted conversation points from Elizabeth Warren on this Trump corruption coin. So I'm staying the hell away from this. Let me know in the chat, though. Are you going to try to get in there? If Gavin Newsom comes out with a contract address, you think the California governor is going to not insider rug everyone that's involved with this? My assumption is that going to do what Democrats do best, and that is steal. So that is me. What up, DeFi, crypto, and airdrops? Any memes, staying away from them. They, them, fi. That should be they, them, fi could be the alternative that the Democrats roll out of California, right? They, them, fi. That's a whole nother subsect of categories that you could be digging in there. Now, if we look for this, if people are looking for, when this is coming out, let's just read a little bit more into this. So the launch timeline, Newsom described it as about to come out in late August, but no release occurred by September 2nd. Is today. Podcast clip teased a head-to-head comparison with Trump's coin. None available on technical details. Market reaction, Politify. They have their moments. We had Bowden. Shout out to you. Pour some liquor out for the Bowden token. They have their moments of movements. Criticism and risks. Humorous to some. It blends politics with crypto. Blah, blah, blah. So no real details on when it comes out other than about to come out in late August is what Newsom says. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, Green Day profits. I was like, GDP. That's some great tag for the name there. And let me know in the chat. I didn't get let's see here. I got to put up basement late night lives. Late night lives. Are you guys night dwellers? Are you guys night dweller? That's what I want to know. Because I'm definitely a night dweller. Now let's go into the rest of the markets. Honestly, see here, we're at 110,000 right now. We're still basically in the same spot. I'm snooping around. I was actually looking at potential long on ETH. I'm looking at a potential long on ETH right now. So I'm going to keep monitoring this. And actually, I should kind of copy this into my actual show live stream setup here. Maybe I can replace the Joro spider. I don't want to look at the Joro spider anymore. He bothers me. Joro spider bothers me. I don't like you. Let's check out ETH. Bam. And let's see here. Oh, is this? I wonder if that stream is still running here. Let me do something real quick. Let me do some wizardry real quick, y'all. Bam. Bam. Okay. We'll see if that's running still. And let me know in the chat. If this if the stream is still coming over to you. So I'm looking at this ETH long potential situation here. Okay, kind of feels good. Kind of looks pretty good to me. Bouncing pretty aggressively. And honestly, like the targets that we had built in last week for Bitcoin hit to basically the T. It was kind of insane seeing this. The target entry point for longs on Bitcoin hit perfectly this weekend. So I know the TA is working. I know the sauce is working. Just about, protecting the trades here, not getting overextended. Good Lord, look at that. That is absolutely crazy. So we're at 110.7, 110.6 right now, bouncing off this past channel top, now trying to make that next move up. Honestly, It's kind of feeling like Ethereum, it's been a little bit laggy. It's been a little bit behind the buck. It actually might be finding an aggressive move off this little double bottom move. ETH short squeeze. Am I back? Did I fix it? Let me know in the chat. All right, there we go. Little long living. Unbelievable. I hear myself on the thing. All right, cool. We're back. We're back. That was crazy. Little boot skis. All right. So this is the ETH long I was talking about. Jesus, that was some wild stuff. I'm really, it seems like it's trying to put up some fight. It seems like it's trying to put up some fight. There we go. I got you guys back here. Maybe I'll just clip that out. I'll clip that portion out of it. I'll clip that portion out of it on the after one. Yeah, I got myself banned there. That was unbelievable. Now, let's go to all the stories. Jesus, before we get taken out. Markets entering into historically tough season here. 1927, 1 year of the U.S. presidential cycle, the S&P 500 fallen by 58%. At the time of September, the second worst month historically. During these times, index return on average was negative 1.62%. October, historically has been weak with the average return of 0.58%. Overall, September average worst return since 1950. Okay, so there's a lot of worries about September coming up. I have some information as far as the Federal Reserve at the end of the show that I'll get into. As things sit right now, one Federal Reserve rate cut looks like what's going to happen, but there's going to be a lot of other worries. And honestly, I really think that we're set up for a pretty bullish end of the year. Now, MicroStrategy, they top blast. They come out here, 4,000 Bitcoin bought. Average price of 110,900, basically where Bitcoin price is right now. But we got the golden goose himself, Jim Cramer, coming out saying that the market in September normally weak. Ooh, baby. Oh, baby. It makes me, every time I hear Jim Cramer say this, it makes me want to long something. It makes me want to long something like an ape. I just want to go in there and long it. Jim Cramer coming out saying that this month's going to be weak. What say you? Do you think this market's going to be weak this September? I want to know. Now, also, this is what I get you. I should have ran the ad. There's no way. The internet just killed me there for a second. I'm actually kind of wagering against Jim Cramer. I think that the markets are going to be to the upside this month. Now, I know I'm a constant bull, yada, yada, yada. I hear it all the time. But right now, we have been fighting back against a downward trend for quite some time on Bitcoin. Right now, it's actually setting up pretty dang bullishly. And you can see the downward trend line right here. And this is the price target that I'd set is actually $107,500, right? So the target for us to bounce off of, we hit 3-4 times over the weekend. Now we've got a higher low developed. And this was the sharp sell-off into market open, the liquidity being grabbed, all the longs being killed before markets could open. And now we're starting to bounce back up and honestly not looking too bad here. Not looking too bad. That short-term sell-off moment, yeah, I knew that it was going to be turbulent, but I don't like shorting this market. And honestly, we are now hitting the brakes on a downtrend that has been going on for quite some time on Bitcoin. And honestly, the structural integrity of us bouncing right here is undeniable. I'm very, very excited to see it pumping and actually finding some support at that zone, $107,000, not only from a TA outlook, a male astrology outlook, but also from just a general market health outlook, right? I mean, it's so funny. You see the tiny pullback that the markets have had today, and the fear and greed index is at a 39. We are sitting here with a 39 rating on fear and greed. More people are fearful than greedy. This is absolutely perfect for continued uptrend. Absolutely. I want to see people scared shitless of the markets. That's what I want to see to feel like we got more juice in the tank. Here, I got to restart the pump fund stream as well. I got to get those pump funders an actual damn show here. They all expect everything to go to zero on Solana meme coin ecosystem over and over again. Unbelievable. But it's just hilarious to see the fear and greed at a 39. We're back into Bitcoin season while the market cap is sitting here up 1.2% at $3.8 trillion, looking very, very healthy. Looking very, very healthy. I'm not too concerned about where the markets are at. Let's keep going. At some point, you have to ask yourself, this is from Adam Kobiesi, what is going on? Gold is hitting daily record highs. Gold is on an absolute warpath right now, you guys. If we needed a leading indicator for where markets were going to go in terms of people realizing that the Federal Reserve is going to continue to act irresponsibly, continuing to print money, we want a front-end indicator of where that is. I still feel like gold is a very, very strong indicator of chaos realm. Okay, chaos realm in the markets having animal spirits return, all of that juice included in the gold charts, which is hit now historic all-time highs. Gold, people getting money out of fiat currency is hitting all-time highs. And Bitcoin, just like gold, founded and based in physics. The cost of energy it takes to pull them out of the ground, or the interwebs, the algorithm, right? It's a consensus network within Bitcoin. Mining gold, finite resource, requires energy to do so. Going parabolic. This is telling me that the markets realize the money system is broke, and now it's time to get exploratory in commodities. Now, we got this expert in crypto, Peter Brent, talking about potentially turning bearish if Bitcoin drops under $107,000 where it's at right now. While Trevor Kukurko, hold on. Where is this? I want to know how that sounds on the other side of this. Predicts Ether will see a breakout soon. TikTok Bitcoin to $150,000 window is closing, says Peter Brandt. After soaring to new highs in August, Bitcoin now facing a critical test for that next major move. Veteran trader Peter Brandt says, I think that there's going to be room for one more big thrust, perhaps to 125 or perhaps to $150,000, but we're running out of time. Peter Brandt tells magazine the market feels toppy, he says, explaining that the asset is entering a period where he finally thought it would hit a price ceiling. Bitcoin trading at 110, give or take, at the time of publication, and Brandt says that he will remain constructive so long as price holds above $107,000, drawing that line in the sand for Bitcoin of where it's at right now. Very, very interesting. Now, if it falls below that, adopt the attitude of 50% decline from the highs might occur. 50% decline from those highs brings us right about to $60,000. I don't know. I would be buying up as much Bitcoin as humanly possible if we get to the $50,000-$60,000 zone. I mean, that is where I'm unwinding assets that I really care about, right? You know, if I could see Bitcoin hit that level, man, I am backing up the truck. And there is some argument that could be said that we're going to just follow along a standard traditional 4-year cycle, and the price action that we felt there within so far, this stair step, this institutional, kind of eke your way up into the right for Bitcoin that we've seen over the past, bull cycle, essentially, it's still honestly showing great upside. If we did experience the top, that's just a greatly diminished returns scenario, but that plays into the general 4-year cycle where we're looking at it. Just to be crystal clear, if I'm looking to hold my bags into 2026, that's me unequivocally saying that this time is different, right? Now, in terms of altcoins, I jeet them. I jeet them real hard. I jeet them hard. I jeet them fast. Bitcoin, Chainlink, though, those two are kind of turning into my, it's like my, what do you call them? That freak from Lord of the Rings with the precious. Chainlink is almost turning into my precious. But, Bitcoin's already there. Chainlink starting to get that way. But looking at this market in general, and, if you haven't already hit really good profits, we've been streaming and screaming at you to buy. I mean, I've been buying hard publicly since $17,000, the little butt cheek pattern. So it's insane to me to think that there's ways to be in and buying in that dip of November 22 and still be not in profits by now. Gollum, that's the name of it. Thank you very much, Mark. That's something to think about. This time is different until it's not. So, you talking about putting a ring on it? I mean, kind of, man. We have proof of bills being put into place by the government. Link treasuries started up. The entire system is being integrated and hybridized into crypto. It's not that what we've seen just happen is not a Bitcoin takeover. It is a hybridization of Bitcoin and stablecoins into the existing system. Now, this does leave us at risk of falling cataclysmically with the rest of the system, should that occur, and really follow through. Like Bitcoin was built as a hedge and like kind of an understanding that this system was breaking beneath our feet. Now we're hybridized, we're connected into it, we're gonna fall together with it. So that is an aggravating part about what's happening. And really, we do have some things talking about historical importance. I want to get on this. I want to get on this here, make sure I cover this. A historic breakthrough. Gold shares on global international reserves rose by 3 percentage points to 24%, the highest level in 3 decades, and it marks the third consecutive year of growth and underscores a structural realignment of how central banks view monetary stability. By surpassing the euro in 24, gold is now the second largest reserve asset worldwide for the first time in modern history. Okay, the non-sovereign asset has overtaken a major fiat currency as the global store of value. Now you enter the Genius Act and stablecoins. Fully regulated stablecoins under the Genius Act slow down the US dollar's decline. The Genius Act is expected to unlock the broad issuance of fully collateralized stablecoins, etc. We all know this. I just went over this. Now, the gold gaining share of natural and rather neutral reserves, stablecoins turning into that modern way of printing and extending dollar dominance into the digital era, slowing that downward trend of fiat and even positioning the dollar for a comeback. Gold may be rising, but the Genius Act opened up a path for U.S. regulated stablecoins to channel massive new demand into treasuries. This is the new aspect that's being developed in the background. While there's so many different distractions, reinforcing the dollar's global role, the real reserve story of the 2020s may not be gold versus fiat. It may be gold and fiat 2.0 running on stablecoin rails. Okay, this is really something very, very important to take note of. And this is the global international reserves, showing gold in the bottom portion here in the gold color. Then you have red, the US dollar, huge chunk, very strong control. Then you have the sterling and the yen, and then the French franc, the Deutsche Mark, and all the rest there. So just a good comparison. There is a shift going on into what we know of in terms of trust of dollars, trust of economy. And now this to even add gasoline to the flame. Absolute gasoline to the flame. This from Zero Hedge highlighting economists are back signing letters. Now they are not even trying to claim inflation is transitory this time. 450 economists back Cook, the federal independence, in an open letter. Prominent economists rallying behind Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. After President Donald Trump moved to fire her based on allegations she committed mortgage fraud. How dare we go after someone that committed mortgage fraud? That's literally like, how do you have trust in a Federal Reserve if its main governors are knowingly committing fraud? Like, how do you continue on with that? But here we are. More than 450 economists signed an open letter backing Cook, saying that there is a high bar for removing the Fed governor and that elected officials should refrain from actions of rhetoric that erode central bank independence. A letter released Tuesday included signatures from Nobel laureates, Nobel laureates Claudia Golden, Paul Romer, and Christina Rowe. I'm just so flabbergasted that they would be against this. Like, she committed fraud. She gets caught doing fraud. And now they're rallying behind her saying that you can't remove this woman. Like, are you serious? What kind of clown world do we live in right now? Now they're going after Trump and all of these people who served as chair under President Barack Obama's Council for Economic Advisors, and Trevor Logan now coming out saying, you know what, fraud's okay. But Trump's going to come out today and maybe set the record straight. He's got an emergency meeting, an announcement coming up out of the Oval Office at 2 p.m. Wonder what it could be. Now, there's a lot of speculation on what it can be. And honestly, as we get into this, give me your thoughts, because Trump, the KOL from Hades, he might cause a lot of chaos on the markets. He usually causes chaos on the markets. It's pretty much how it goes down here. So now what we have the options. All right, these are the options. Treasury Secretary Bessent saying that Trump might be declaring a national housing emergency in the coming months. Could be, a follow up from Secretary Treasury Scott Bessent's words yesterday, saying that there's a national housing emergency going on and that it might be addressed by the president. You know what? That means big printer time. That means major monetary moves. That means lower interest rates. That means money printer go burr. That means Bitcoin hit 200K. If they wince and turn a quantitative easing movement on from the Federal Reserve and they don't keep their poker face, Bitcoin's going over 200K. Gold can sniff it. Gold can smell the blood in the water right now. It smells the weakness. Gold knows that there's major monetary movements coming, but also these type of monetary movements could be what Trump's going to be relaying. Treasury intensifying pressures on Iranian oil smuggling and sanctions and those evasion schemes in Iraq that Iran has been using. So it could be another major tariff announcement closing that grip on world trade potentially, or also been whispered about a potential conversation of Department of Defense related movements here, Liberation Day rhetoric. We have this, I kind of wanted to take this scheduled for the announcement from the Oval Office today, obviously. Caroline Leavitt stated that the announcement is very exciting for Trump and that it's related to the Department of Defense. No further details been released about what's coming up at 2 p.m., but based on recent context, speculation reporting, it appears most likely to involve deployment of National Guard troops to Chicago. Oh my God. Okay. As part of an intensified immigration enforcement operation and a broader crime reduction. Jesus. And what's happened this weekend in Japan and the United Kingdom is also related to this same thing happening here in the US. And actually, Trump woke up this morning and brought up Chicago first and foremost. So if we're deploying the National Guard to Chicago, crazy to think about, but honestly, crazier things have happened. So what would you do in this situation? This is a great post. And a reminder, my Ondo Roundtable put this out, $9.98 Solana. Let's say we have all our fun. We've pumped to the moon. We've had a great time, folks. And then the music stops. Go back down to $10. Are you a buyer of Solana if it goes back to $10? Let me know how degen, how in this you are in crypto. Just kind of want to get a vibe check out there. Now, for 2 p.m., it's coming up pretty closely. We are 20 minutes out. I would have to bet the Chicago thing kind of tracks. Right? It's chaotic. It makes for insane headlines. But the Chicago thing kind of tracks. Me personally, if we have all our fun and see Solana go back to $10, I'm probably fucking I'm gonna buy it. I'm just that way. Solana, a lot of these larger projects, what we're seeing is the rails be built for communication of crypto to government entities and central banks. And the biggest projects, as long as they keep their S together, they're going to be able to rise. Like crypto has never been more here to stay. Honestly, my long-term conviction in Chainlink has never been stronger. Really for the rest of these projects, it's not that I don't like them. I really essentially, I feel that a lot of them are going to succeed. Tron is a great foothold in the Southeast Asian markets. XLM has things going for it within RWA. Solana's got those trenches locked down, and BNB, strong competitor of trenches, but also the world's largest exchange, and the immortal CZ. The lore behind CZ, absolutely crazy. So, if I do see a market washout, thankfully, I'm mostly insulated from that. the altcoin bags, they are what they are. I've been in through this many, many times in crypto, but there's a reason why I've been through this multiple times in crypto is because it changed my life forever, leaning into the danger in 2020 and that flu season dip. Put my money where my mouth is. Everyone thought I was insane. Now who's laughing? Now let's look at World Liberty Fi. So fully diluted value at that $24 billion. Aave's fully diluted value, the largest DeFi protocol by TVL is at 5 billion. Okay. So like this or not, but World Liberty Fi, this shows once again that crypto isn't all about fundamentals. You got to be able to pull up those people, right? You got to be able to pull up those volume numbers. World Liberty Fi is doing that. It's about attention. To a large degree, it is about that attention. It is about that attention to a large degree. Oh my God. Hold on. I'm going through the chat here. Let me get martial law immediately. Hopefully not, right? Let's hope for no martial law. That'd be great. It'd be super. Martial law is not something that, honestly, like, I'm kind of like that subsect of America that is kind of the reason they don't do martial laws, because they know things a little bit crazy, right? So, hopefully it doesn't come. We'll see. Now, Justin's son, speaking of Trump, he claimed $178 million worth of World Liberty Fi. Justin's son claimed just 20%. This is what they were able to claim, is 20% of the unlock of the World Liberty Fi tokens, these early investors, right? They were getting in at $1.06, right? $1.06, or 1.6 cents rather. They were getting in very, very cheap. Justin's son now has nearly $890 million. But this was when World Liberty, or the World Liberty Fi token, was worth about 25 cents, 26 cents. So I think that number has drastically changed. But Justin's son definitely in it at 23 cents right now. And just, if you want to really look at the larger, as much data as you can, 20 cents is price exploration to the downside. You're going to have your basic top band here at 40 cents. Yeah. So, I'm not going to buy World Liberty Fi right now. I know it's come out, it's hot, it's all the buzz, yada, yada, yada. And likely, it's a test bed for larger DeFi applications. It's a test bed for larger DeFi applications, but I'm going to give it some time to see where it goes. And some interesting things to be said about its revenue, or reserves rather. The World Liberty Fi ecosystem generates interest, and the income from that interest from USD1 reserves, right? So they're earning interest on their stablecoin reserve. This income systematically used via smart contracts to repurchase and then burn ecosystem governance token, World Liberty Fi token, in the open market. Kind of a cool mechanism. The value flow is reserves interest, protocol revenue, then World Liberty Fi token repurchase and burn, then World Liberty Fi holder returns, the supply being more finite, more burn. This is actually a decent design, not a terrible design. God, is gold pushing up higher? Gold, I should have just titled this around gold. Gold is going ballistic right now. This is absolutely crazy. You know what's also crazy? I got to say something. So these drinks, that's a lot of caffeine. I'm a fan of caffeine, but these drinks, holy God, they got me cooking. So I kind of need to pull up the gold chart now. I guess we need to go pull up the gold chart. You may as well. When gold is hitting all-time highs, guys. I mean, this is the canary in the coal mine for us in crypto, in Bitcoin particularly, right? The digital gold lagging, while this real gold is just absolutely sending. Now, it's not broken out. It's not going into absolute price discovery per se, but man, it is looking feisty. This is on the 1 minute time frame. Trump announcement is at 2 p.m. Mr. Crypto Stevo. Absolutely crazy seeing gold do that. Jeez Louise. All right, now let's get into Ethereum. Let's cover the Ethereum movements that we're seeing. And this is a big shift. So ETH's biggest bag holders aren't early individual whales anymore. Still long are those big Chinese old school ETH bags dumping in the middle of the night, making you lose your sleep at night. Ownership is being shaped by staking contracts, exchanges, and funds now. Longer term holders just shooting from the hip with slower movements. Now, this is going to steady out ETH's upside as this continues to take shape over time. But you know what? It's going to make it an asset that's longer term hold. And BlackRock is kind of seeing the writing on that wall. They're rapidly accumulating Ethereum. This is the total Ethereum holdings for BlackRock's ETH accumulation pattern. Very, very aggressive move to the upside. And you know what? While we're looking at this, I want to see if we have any live feed of the Trumpster coming live on the stage yet. Let's see if we got any news of the Trumpster coming on live. This is something I want to watch. Maybe we can watch it from the actual White House. You know what? We're gonna pull the actual White House up here, and then we can keep an eye on this just in the background. It's so insane that Gavin Newsom is thinking about rolling out a meme. Like, is that the top signal? Right? It just like, all right. So we got this tab. We'll keep an eye on this when they go live. We'll have it here on the White House official website here. Make sure I got all these things shut down so we don't go too overboard with the sound. Now on Ethereum, Bitmine with its treasury now is hit 1.8 million Ethereum. What? $4,450 a share. They hold 192 Bitcoin, but nearly 2 million Ethereum. This is absolutely insane. If Ethereum pulls off, a doubling, this is going to cause a massive move from Wall Street firms into it, and a lot of them that are late to the party are going to get wrecked. Now, this is something interesting. Ondo Global Markets about to make its debut as well tomorrow, folks. So Ondo Global Markets, they're going to have over 100 tokenized stocks, it looks like, and ETFs that are all going live on Ethereum through Ondo Global Markets. A defining moment, they say, that brings traditional markets on chain at scale. Ondo, I'm still holding. It's been quite sleepy. And honestly, it's running its head against just the longer this resistance forms, the more hardcore it feels at $1, right? $1 for Ondo is like the great mountain to climb. It's just sitting here writhing under $1 for quite some time, honestly. That's about the dollar mark right there. Let's see here. Now, and Ondo, are they long-term building? I feel that way. Yeah, I do feel that way. Am I going to jeet them within the year's time frame? Also, yes. Okay. Also, yes. It's an altcoin in my mind. Like the only altcoin that I can really hold long-term is Chainlink. Like, I got the bag of Ondo. They have this global markets rollout happening tomorrow. But where my bags sit, like I built them at 40 cents. I did take a good chunk of profits in the $2 zone, thankfully. Oh my God. Oh, I just downed so much of this. Yeah, if you're making me compare like Ondo to something else, like I feel like Morpho is more exciting. And actually, these markets are trying to wake up. Speaking of exciting, oh my lordy, I should have just done the stupid trade at the beginning of the show. We're still cooking on up, bouncing nicely out of that zone. The 429. Geez, you're welcome if you just listened and did it. As I'm sitting here, I'm balancing all the things. What does the word jeet mean? It's me dumping all of my altcoin bags for Bitcoin, hard iron goods, or new parts to my house or new house. So Getimus Maximus, they all, people thought I was a little nuts for selling in the March peak. So I did that. God, we are pumping. Pumping hard. Oh my God. Pumping hard. Let's see if we're not live yet. We're not live yet. They'll begin live again shortly. I'm going to keep an eye on this. And maybe we need to keep an eye on other avenues of information potentially other than just the White House. Let's see here. Going through live. Trump live. God. Yeah, that's AS 990. That's it. Let's see here. Trump live. I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything, right? We just want to make sure that we're not missing anything. And so it should be in about 10 minutes. So we're coming out. Oh, yeah. And here's another live view. We got a live view of the White House here from Fox. That'll be useful to have on the sideline just in case, right? Just in case they are a little bit laggy, as I'd rather watch it just from the basic White House here, but we have Fox watching it as well. Let's see here. Yeah, I got so many things I got to click. There we go. There we go. We got the live White House view, and that is one majestic looking American flag. I will say, I like this American flag. I like this American flag. Dude, don't. Oh my God, Mox. Bro, that would be bad. That would be bad. Oh my God. Jesus. That would be bad. I'm just going through the chat here right now. Hopefully Trump is live and well, right? If Trump is not live and well, that'd be very, very bad for the markets. Very, very bad. And then you got a Peter Thiel, like a for sure Peter Thiel puppet behind him. Right. Oh, Lord. And the call along. God, I'm always doing too many things. You know, there she goes. There she goes again. All right. So I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for that. All right. There. A little bit of turbulence. Turbulence move. I think this is probably Trump. I'm sending the National Guard to Chicago. It's going to be great. Yes. There's many rumors. There's many rumors, but like war, always a psyop going on. We're keeping an eye out for this. And let's see here. I also want to make sure that I got to do something quick. Go into the back end. I'm a one-man army here. A one-man army, but it's all right. We hold it up. Hold it up. Keep your trigger button ready. Oh, no. Oh, that'd be great. He's sending the National Guard to Los Angeles because of the meme coin. He's sending the National Guard to Los Angeles because Gavin's going to roll out his own meme coin. This is war, right? This is war. We'll short it now, maybe. Maybe. We're watching this. Let's see where it goes. Oh, dude, vet. Maybe that's the move. And what did the poll even say? Did the poll say that we do it? That I had to reload the system. The freaking poll disappeared on me. The poll disappeared on me. All right, so we're Trump live. Trump live. Announcement. Oval Office. Bam. That's the title. Trump live Oval Office announcement, folks. Gotta have it. Gotta have it. Let's do this. Changing it there. Bam. All right. Let's see here. The announcement is that he's backing the meme coin, bro. Bro. Trump backing the meme coin. Hold on.
You are banned.
Jesus, Daniel. Unbelievable. Get out of here. That's too much. Gavin Newsom backing Trump meme coin. Trump backing Gavin Newsom meme coin. We're ran by meme coins now, folks. That's all there is to it. Newsom switching sides bullish. Let's see here. And also, talk about the thumb. This is an emergency Trump live, right? This is an emergency Trump live. We got to get this out. Got to get it live. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Bam. All right. Major dump. Let's see here. More tariffs. Let's see here. What should I put on the thumb? Just kind of thinking about it out live. You know, if Vance took over, who would be the VP? That is a great question. If Vance is the president and he has to take over for Trump, who would be that VP? I'd say a good way, RFK would be great. Yeah, I know. Like, I think Trump health wise is going to be fine. I really don't think that it's a health related announcement. I don't think he's going to be stepping down. No, I don't feel that way. You know, they'd be doing it much differently, much differently. Let's see here. Bam, get this. You know what? I kind of want to have like some chaos on the. I kind of want to have some chaos. Leaving. Let's see here. Top signal. We got to know if it's top. Everyone always wants to know if it's the top. You know, when it's the top, you guys, we're gonna have a short amount of time of winning bigly against Bitcoin in altcoins, and then it'll be the top, and things will crash. Right, altcoins will crash. The big question in my mind is how deep the Bitcoin fallback is. You know, that's kind of my biggest concern. Other than that, though, none of my top signals have really hit yet. You know, so that's why I'm just not quite ready to say, yeah, the top's here. Now, what I take profits into, I'm not feeling like the US dollar is the best place for me. I feel like they're just going to keep printing and keep screwing things up. So I'm just going to take more Bitcoin. I'm just going to take more Bitcoin. Maybe some land, maybe some land. Just whatever. I vibe with Bitcoin and land. And Bitcoin and real estate I vibe with. Ooh. What do we got here? Do we got something coming? We got it coming? All right, let's see. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Jesus. You hear that? Flatline. That's a flatline depth monitor. Jesus. See what he says. Let's see what he says. Major tariff trade deal. Potentially. Bam. Bam. I'm like an octopus, folks. You don't even know. You don't even know. I'm doing all the things. All things. I do all things. He's announcing the purge? Hopefully not. Jesus, Wispy. Hopefully not. Hopefully he's not announcing the purge. This is not looking good so far. Not looking good so far. Starting with the purge thing, I've seen better starts. I've seen more comfortable starts in my day. Let's see here. Still got nothing there. Here in the White House. Look at this. Look at this cabinet. He means business. He is super serial. Jesus. Let's see here. Let's go to the live. Let's just snoop around the main live to make sure. We'll soon snoop around the whitehouse.gov. An eye on this. Lord, he dead. Hopefully, God. Oh my. Please do not. Don't do this. There's no way he's on. Are they just going to have this weird signal thing up the whole time? It's going to. Is that and let me know. It should be on mute. It should be on mute. Should be on mute. Let's see. Let's see. I'll make sure. Should be on mute though. No, my God, it's not on mute. There we go. Good Lord. No mute, it's music. Oh Lord. I mean, that was kind of creepy, right? There's like a purge. Jesus. That was crazy. You know what? Do we short this? Do we short this? Is that the move here? We just short the market? This is kind of fascinating though, right? The LGBTQ hold screen. We wait for Trump. Oh man. There's nothing about Trump on X. Gotta see this. I gotta see this. We're gonna watch this live, right? I mean, you know what? If he comes out with another massive trade thing, Jesus. The potentials are there. The potentials are there. And maybe I can move back into the Bitcoin cash short. That thing's looking kind of strong. Now, honestly, these alts are kind of looking a little strong. Honestly, these are looking pretty strong. He sneezes something bullish, we're going dark green. We're going dark green. Even Ondo's dark green. Athena's dark green. Dark green means good money, means big money, right? Means big upside. Bitcoin Cash. God. Thinking short maker. Maybe. Still waiting on the hold signal from hell here. I know, even Matic looking strong. That's crazy. That's crazy. And you know what? What I can do is I can ultra super giga chad movement these things. I'm gonna scoot all these other tabs into here. You know, we're gonna just bring up a bunch of charts. Maybe I'll pull off a trade while he's talking here. It depends on what. If I almost hope for a big scare, a big washout, a big liquidity grab. You know, I definitely feel like that's a potential right now. Go over to the charts. Bitcoin 110.6 right now. Go to liquidity, check it out. Where's the liquidity washout? I got the side screen showing. We're still showing the screen of death here. So we're still in waiting. Liquidity washout to the downside potential. A liquidity washout to the downside is definitely a potential, like looking at the charts here. There's no lie. That is no lie. And also, this was interesting. Just in terms of while we're waiting, the S&P 500, Kelly was kind of noting it as well. We are seeing a little bit of a rounding off, a loss of momentum on the S&P 500. It's worth noting. What the? Something that's been making me get them eyeballs is potentially finding the bounce point of Morpho. We dropped down about $1.87 this morning. Tried to pump out of it. It's definitely following the tune. I think structurally, Morpho is one of the more bullish altcoins on the market, just from how much actual utility and value is being locked on chain. Right now, actually looks like really nice retest that Morpho is doing. A very sharp, aggressive retest, finding potentially that bounce point here to $1.70. So, and we're still watching out for the Trumpinator. Go like this. We got this on lock. So we got that view. I don't really know if I need to keep that up. I'll keep it up until he comes live. Really, some of the juice. The markets are having a little bit of a wash to the downside. ETH losing that move now. Let's see here. Maybe some insiders got the word. Trump's giving up. Oh no. Oh no, is it over? Oh no. Bitcoin local range about to break structure on the range it tried to build itself this morning. Let's see if she holds right at that moment here. The liquidity washout to the downside. Let's see if it snagged it on the 12-hour. Let's go. Yeah, I was looking at that Morpho. Like Morpho to $1.80 doesn't look horrible. Morpho to $1.80 doesn't look horrible. No, that's definitely catching my eye there. Just going through the charts. It's pretty close to that. It's at $1.88. Like something around this zone. Really, I don't hate that. Really don't hate that. Watching. I got the side screen still. We're keeping an eye. And you know what? I'm going to make this bigger. I'm going to make this thing. There. There. There we go. Let's see here. Yeah, so $1.80 on Morpho doesn't look bad. Like Morpho as an ecosystem is looking rock solid to me. And actually, I think that Morpho's probably going to be one of the bigger gainers in my portfolio at this rate, with the amount of money coming into it and just kind of where we're at in the markets. So yeah, I mean, I like Morpho as a spot hold quite a bit. You know, Morpho's like I buy Bitcoin and Morpho with the tether I make trading. Now this is that's the washout going all the way down to $110,000 flat, essentially. So the washout that would make sense from a liquidity standpoint, from an exchange standpoint, is bringing Bitcoin down to 110, smack dab in that old school range that we had last week. We're keeping on the sidelines here, waiting for Trump to come on as well. People are freaking out on this. We'll just leave that. Let's see here. And stair steps up and to the right, honestly, for a lot of this is the stinking. I had a great short in from $584 just about. I wrote it in, took a little bit of profits in this cavern, but then kept the stop loss safe in case we reversed. We reversed, boy, howdy, on Bitcoin Cash, and I like shorting Bitcoin Cash. I like shorting XRP, but does it work out all the time? No. No, it does not. No, it does not. I still made money on it, but chaotically, you're keeping the stop loss in profit. ETH real close to trying to break that structure. Oh baby. Oh baby. And now you guys are kind of flowing into the fun with me. Let's see here. Yeah, Trump's just getting his trades in prior to his announcement. Watch, giga short on everything. S&P 500 short it. Right. Been watching out for this. Nothing has come about on the weird multi-colored screen of hell. So we're waiting on that announcement here. Also, this is crazy. The guy from Zero Bro, who remembers this? He faked his own death, dumped his own bags, launched a meme coin in his literal memory, and then rugged the meme coin that was in his memory, then pops up on a space this weekend on X, joined a space today like nothing happened. Crypto Twitter remains undefeated. This is insane. I don't know if you were there. Shout out if you were there. Zero Bro was an AI agent at Rugged. And we did get further information about CCC coins. So if anyone wants to go get that, go at coins_chick to get her explanation. Total chaos in the meme coin zone. No wonder, meme coiners are so beat down and scared of everything. Now, also, this is crazy. For the UK, it's running a wartime fiscal deficit right now. The money deficit as percentage of the GDP, despite the last war on UK soil being in World War II, the UK is literally seeing a deficit as a percentage of GDP that are at French Revolutionary and Napoleonic War levels. So the deficit really quite problematic in the UK. The UK is getting ready to roll out their own CBDC. Meantime, that their 30-year yield is going parabolic. And Christine Lagarde talks about how excited the Euro CBDC is to launch. Now they're talking about a launch date for the Euro CBDC in October of 2025. Interesting time frame, as unrest and protests are taking hold in the UK against being replaced, right? So imagine this, they roll out the CBDC October, Halloween time, and then all of a sudden you got no buying power if you're speaking out against what's going on in the UK and being replaced. Same thing's happening to Japan, right? Japan getting ready to roll out their own. Now, Japan post-bank plans to launch their digital currency in 26 and mobilize $1.3 trillion in deposits, enabling that quick trading, yada, yada, yada. We know it's for control. They're going to say that building into crypto is all about getting access to wider markets, right? It's all about control. It's all about control and then hiding the quantitative easing in the background longer because they have a new mechanism to do so. And it's going to take a while for market participants to get savvy to what the Treasury is about to do with our dollars. So that is my personal opinion about that. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but more often than not, when we see things like that, we are proven right. Now, and just to reiterate, we do got to go over the likely causes for this White House, this live White House announcement from the Oval Office. It's been speculated that this is actually stemming from Chicago and deploying the National Guard to Chicago, right? And there's a slew of different options, but honestly, the National Guard being deployed to Chicago, we've seen crazier things, but it also could be Iranian or other countries' tariffs increasing from the United States. We're still waiting on this. We're still waiting on the announcement here. So kind of leave this. But if you're just coming in here, no, he hasn't started talking yet. If you're just coming in here, we have actually a kind of ominous beep noise going on there, but they are waiting for Trump to take the stage in the Oval Office. It's either, a lot of people think it's going to be Chicago deportations. Some think it's going to be trade related. He just announced more sanctions coming to Iran. And then also there's been hints from the Treasury Secretary of a housing crisis in the United States. Very high interest rates compared to the average cost of living in the average house in the United States, basically leaving a $120 trillion market at a Mexican standoff, a standstill, a potential stagflationary event where markets lock up and they're not moving anymore, causing major moves at the central bank level to ease and to cause that kind of catalyst to kickstart markets back up and running again. Let's see here if we got anything going. Nothing going still. Ethereum dropped back down to that same level and is freaking bouncing once again. Absolute chaos here. Oh, Space Command. You know what? Space Command could play because Caroline the vet, the press secretary, she came out and she did say that it's related to Department of Defense, like national security or something like that. So something about the military involved with this announcement. So reloading the Space Command actually would fall within that narrative. That could be a potential. Looking at Bitcoin price action right now. Got to make this a little bit bigger. And what a washout candle, you guys. I mean, it's felt like the exchange is shaking longs off the order books all Sunday. I mean, the fact that this 4-hour candle was completely gobbled up, turned into a giant hammer candle, and then just higher lows being created, swooping out of this. This is on the 4-hour time frame. And even the money flow is still in the red, but now moving up to the green on the 4-hour time frame. Kind of builds out some bullish setup. And on the weekly, we were up against a red dot all last week, and we held up spectacularly. Now the VWAP trying to clip to the upside and continue general increase in money flow. But that was a great bounce off of this level. Absolutely great bounce. Very, very healthy for the markets, in my opinion. Very, very healthy, And people like Peter Brandt, they say that the market is going to be over if it hit $107,000. Honestly, man, like, I am so entrenched with Bitcoin and just outpacing inflation, I have no interest in holding dollars. I really, really don't. You know, and maybe I'm crazy for that, but I really, really don't feel that way. Oh, someone's going into a Bitcoin Cash short without me. Sure. And it did. And look, it played out. Son of a. Oh, Lord. It played out. It played out. And again, we're live. Ooh, here we go. Here we go. I think we're getting some action here. Let's see here. What is this? Why are we at the beach? Why are we at the... Let's see here. I don't think any sound's coming over yet. You let me know in the chat if it's coming over here. No, we don't have any sound coming out of here yet. Got the Daytona Beach. What the hell is this view here for? There's been some movement. There's been some movement there. Still waiting on that. Official. He's in heaven, bro. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I know. What is this? Why is this? I mean, let's go to the White House. Okay. Live. Let's see here. Oval Office. See what we got. Building. Where did I find that? Let's see here. Signers. Good a new. Let's see. What in the hell is... Why is this on the screen? Why is this, bro? DCA, dude. I mean, that is so bad for the markets. If he... Oh God. Bitcoin's not liking this. Bitcoin is not liking this hold screen, you guys. Bitcoin is not liking it. Rolling down. Where's this POC at? Actually, this might be an interesting look. See? About 110.1. Oh my God. Oof. This is kind of leaving me on edge. Like, what the fuck is Fox News doing? Why is the White House taking away their live announcement? Like, are we in danger here? Are we in extreme danger? Let's see here. All right, we got this. Here. Pull this one up. Pull this one up. Now this different view. I just was feeling weird. Like, what am I looking at? Why are we looking at Daytona Beach? I want to be looking at the White House. We're waiting for Trump to go live. Let's see here. This is funny. Let's go with this guy's stuff. All right. We should hear it when it comes out. Mute this. Mute this while we're waiting for it to come out. There's a military ship heading for us, bro. Bro. What? Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Hopefully not. Y'all got me on edge. Y'all got me on edge. Markets are on edge. ETH, what are we going to do? We're going to lose this structure ETH. We're going to 44,000 flat. Going to 4,000 flat ETH. Bitcoin. What are we doing? We're rolling back half the profits from this morning off this hold screen. Jeez. Let's get this all set up here. Let's get this all set up. Let's go. I almost feel like putting on like 1970s yacht rock for this kind of vibe. This is a moment of scariness, right? Honestly, I hope for a dip. The more this market dips, the better I feel. The more this market dips, the better I will feel. We'll see this market. See this market. I want to see if we dip hard. Maybe a major rollback. Maybe markets hate uncertainty. Oh yes. Oh yes. Dude, you need to see Yachty Crew. What's Yachty Crew on? I almost was a lead singer for a yacht rock band. How much you feel for you, baby. You know, I know that stuff. Like the back of my hand. Ooh, a bird just flew by Daytona Beach. Ooh, bird. Gonna announce a new medieval times castle on the White House lawn. That would be a good vibe. Honestly, that would be a good vibe. That would be a good vibe. I would be for it. Yachtly Crew. Oh, dude, this looks sick, bro. What? Looks sick. The Yachtly Crew? Are you kidding me? You know, I almost sang for a band literally exactly like this. Dude, no. This is the band. This is the band. That's my boy Dave. I almost sang for this band, bro. That's Scott Ool. That's my buddy Scott. These mother truckers. No. Is this it? No, it's not. Oh, no. Okay. This is different. God, that guy looks exactly like Dave. This guy looks exactly like Dave. Holy God. You almost just, I'm like, whoa. Whoa. And you know what? They all got that look. They got that beard. It's for her pleasure. You know, they all got that beard that's for her pleasure, folks. So. It's settled. It's the purge. Oh, Lord. Probably a gender reveal. We're going back to the screen. We're waiting for Trump. Yeah, this is where the fun it is. This is the fun. Solana hasn't blinked. What's Solana been doing? We pumpy? Oh, there's Isaac. I think I just saw Isaac or Brian. And he just smashed the wall. Oh my God. Oh my God. Good. Bro, those shows are lit. I'm telling you. Yacht rock shows are the jam, bro. The jam. Absolutely. Peak cinema. Peak cinema. Let's see. If you don't know how to have fun in life outside of crypto, are you even salami at $204. Yeah, I mean that's good. Over $200. Very, very good for very, very good. Well, I should yell at Isaac. Isaac! We should Isaac! It requires your attendance. Where are they? Here it is. Look at this guy.
What am I supposed to say? I'm busy. I'm moving stuff.
It's hard at work.
Hard at work.
Yeah.
You're banned.
Yeah, you're banned. We're gonna ban Steve-O. We just have to do it.
I love our new offices.
Oh yeah, are you guys setting up more stuff in there? Okay. Setting up DZ Studio. Love to hear it. We're waiting for Trump to come live. Kelly, you want to hop on here with me? Or you want to watch this with me? Hop in here. Yeah, we'll just get in our StreamYard and you'll see me live in the studio. All right, I'll drop you the link too. I'll drop you the link on Discord. We're getting after it. We're getting after it here. God, you guys got me going on Yacht Rock. You guys ban Sack Nasty too. All right, I got a little bit of work here cut out for me here. Got a couple people I got to ban while we're waiting for Trump here. I'm gonna tag Kelly. Kill him. I'm sending it to you on Discord or tagging you, Kelly. All right, this is fun too because I can yell at Kelly. All right, here we go. Isaac stole Melania away from Trump. Oh yeah, where are these people Isaac wants to ban? I gotta find them here too while we're waiting. At least you're keeping me busy, Isaac. Keeping me. Where are you? Oh yeah. God. Let's see here. Let's see. Sack Nasty, he's safe for now. He's safe for now. You're lucky. Trump saying he's disappointed in Putin. Oh my God. Isaac stole Melania away from Trump, and that is the scandal of a century, folks, right there. Scandal of a century. Isaac steals Melania. Scam of a century. Isaac will be public enemy number one. Public enemy number one will be Isaac if that happens. Let's see here. You know what? You know what? Oh, snap. We got a wild Kelly Kellum building himself up in the background here. Let's get him up here. Kelly, how you doing?
Well, I want to show you something that I'm going to be using all my current altcoin profits to buy.
What are you gonna? What are you gonna?
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. Let me. What window is it on? I got 47 different windows. Here we go. This is what I'm going to be buying right here. You ready?
I'm ready. Let me get myself down and get you up. What is that? Oh my God. Bro.
That's right. That's right. With all my current altcoin profits, get that good tech, baby. Yeah.
Oh
so
Lord.
Well, we're still snacking, right?
That's the latest update to Apple right there. So been a pretty interesting morning, Kelly. We don't have Trump live yet. We're waiting on Trump to go live right now. Here, I'll pull this up. So we got a live shot of the White House in this illustrious new flag. You know, there's been hints that it's National Guard. You know, that's the Zoolander phone. Oh my God.
National Guard or the Space Command moving to Alabama. I think at any time Trump is going to talk, the entire market's like, okay, what's going to be the shakeup today? You know, but I think we need to remind ourselves. Let's go back to just the charts. The charts signaled the breakdown from 124.6 down. You know, we had the bearish divergence. You know, very easily seen with these two higher highs and the lower highs here on the RSI and the money flow. And then I was sharing over the weekend. This descending lows here with the, you know, starting to build this, you know, bullish pressure on the RSI. Similarly, this is an older one. This was the day before, talking about the money flow. And then on the 4-hour chart, before this even popped out, look at that massive spike. The money flow didn't just cross. It's like, hey, we're going. And then what we see, guys? We saw something that we really want to see on a breakout. We saw price breakout, come back, retest, and push back up. We're just watching that 114 to 116 CME futures gap zone. But right now, I mean, who knows what Trump is going to, because what did he do the other day? He did like a 4-hour press conference. So maybe it is about the National Guard. He could also speak for another 2 hours on complete nonsense. Who knows?
Oh God. I gotta handle some.
You are banned
To defend Isaac's honor. I'm sorry. You know, so we're watching out.
My band?
No, you're not banned. You're fine. You're fine. We're watching out for this. I'm going to keep an eye on this. I got to go find this suckerfish in the chat.
I have it. I have it on my side screen, so I'll let you know if it comes on.
Yeah, this is you know, I'm not in a trade right now. I got out of that Bitcoin Cash trade for some profit, and huge shout out. If you guys aren't in our trading Discord, I mean, because I was all busy getting all the news together. I was looking for a good signal. We felt up, but I just didn't know. God, John Dalton just dropped another banger in there. It's a very quick-lived short.
John Dalton's great.
Oh, he's incredible. Absolutely incredible. So because I was just as a user in, you know, the Discord, and obviously we did our morning show. We chose up for Bitcoin. We went that way, but very nice little short-term breakdown. Protected the trade, kept pretty busy. Now we're actually trying to coil up. Ethereum is really kind of enticing to me right now. Seeing Ethereum building up strength here instead of breaking down, because I feel like if we lost this $4,200 mark, you know, 4,000 was almost written in the stars. Now
you know what? You know what about Ethereum? A lot of people aren't taking into consideration.
What's that?
Everybody, you know, we've both talked about on Discover, on BitLab, through our Discord. You know, the Ondo global, what the global market's going live tomorrow.
Yeah,
That's all on ETH. So in a way, basically we're bringing the US stock markets on chain for global markets, which yes, it's an Ondo thing, but it's also massively impactful for just the awareness, not only of Ondo, but also Ethereum and sort of what that catalyzes in terms of capital trust for big money players and where they think there's going to be some expansion and investment opportunities. So I do think it's pretty darn major.
Yeah. And what Ondo's trying to do is not a small task. An altcoin in a private company taking on tokenizing the entirety of Wall Street. It's not that they have to tokenize the entirety of Wall Street, but they need to be trailblazers, right? And I think
well, hold on.
What's that?
Do they need to tokenize all of Wall Street? Well, let's consider Nvidia, Microsoft, Meta, Netflix, and what's the other major one? There's one more in there, Apple. That is the majority of Wall Street right there. When you look at the capital, look at Nvidia alone is larger than the GDP of Canada. Okay. I mean, it's like, so when you're getting just these, 100 very critical assets for the global markets here with these tech stocks, just those top 5 or 6 already is encompassing the large majority of the market movement and power in the stock market. So the fact that we're getting 100 in a ways, I don't want to say all the other stuff doesn't matter, but the meat on the bone is all going to be included tomorrow.
Absolutely. And right now, just with the market like unsurety for the immediate time, like I love trading Tuesdays for sure. I'll make this a little bit bigger.
Well, how do you feel about a trading Tuesday when a Tuesday is a Monday since yesterday was a holiday?
And that's where the psyop begins. Okay, don't even get me going on that because that's exactly where I was at this morning. I was like, it's a Tuesday, but it feels like a Monday, And I usually do much better. We've taken a good chunk of liquidity out so far, but this liquidity, it's in chunks of $60 to $70 million just on Binance, liquidations of longs, going down to $109,900 essentially. So watching out for a snap crash like that actually might be kind of my immediate move while I'm watching this Trump rollout, this Trump crash out. Who knows what the KOL from Hades has got on his mind today. But I got to be careful with the trades.
I love that Trump is now, he's like preeminent number one, just KOL in the world. He's a KOL.
Oh yeah.
Which
I think absolutely. Is funny. Absolutely.
Hey, but you want to see some bullish hopium?
What's that?
Check out this chart comparison. Of course, fractals don't always play out, but we've seen something like this play out when we saw the price action basically form this broadening wedge back here or late 2023 into 2024. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this would be the run up into the ETF, the sell off that followed, and then the boom season there. But very interesting, very similar correlation here. If the price action maintains the area that it's in now. It's already broken out of this, retested. It's already matured a little bit beyond this, but only by one day. If this were to play out, even coming up to test the upper side of this resistance band, if it did anything similar, would still be, somewhere in this range of $127,000 to $130,000. And I mean, I think it would be asinine to consider that we're not going to see at least 150,000 by the end of this year. But I also know I've been in this market in crypto market specifically for about 10 years. As sure as you can be, this market, you got to make sure you don't overexpose yourself into the inability to take care of the things you need to, paying rent, paying your mortgage, paying gas, taking care of your family, all those things. So as much as the data would indicate 150 is kind of in the cards for this year, I wouldn't be surprised to see the option B, a sell-off into the end of the year, and then everybody thinks 4-year cycle. This is for sure. We're going into a year bear market, and then the rest of 2026 we just melt to the upside. But I'd be leaning on the fence of I think 150 is about, I'd say 75% likelihood by the end of this year.
Well, and some of the potentials of what Trump could be discussing today play into a extended market theory, right? I mean, we are in basically the moment where it's either this time is the same, It's a 4-year cycle. Get out in October and November. Then you're heading back into a bear market. But then there's also the conversation of the reason to print has never been stronger for the U.S. government, right? And the reason that they need to cook the books has never been heavier. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent this weekend said that the Trump camp might be ready to declare a national housing emergency in the coming months. Now, you ask, why the hell is there a housing emergency? Your prices of houses are at all-time highs.
But hey, hold on a sec, Drew. We could go down this rabbit hole for 14 hours. But when we think about the housing market, I think the biggest issue we have right now looking at data is, one, the hangover effects that we're still dealing with from COVID. Two, the changing nature of let's look at how much money from hedge funds was buying housing in early 2000s or before compared to now. When we see Blackstone and BlackRock having purchased, millions and millions of homes. So I feel like even the nature of this housing market, if those purchases weren't happening, I think that we probably would have had a housing market crash in terms of pricing. But it's being floated. What's the word I'm looking for? This massive divergence in how much housing costs as it relates to household income versus what we even saw in the 90s when we were kids. It's growing untenable for anybody to look at the old American dream, and anywhere you're at in the world. This is kind of true. The cost of things is so disproportionately grown from the amount of income that you earn. It's kind of like Bitcoin and crypto is kind of the only option for our generation. So let's get cracking.
Well, and that's why, outpacing inflation, having our dollars buying power protected is super important. And something you just mentioned, Kelly, here's how deep the scam really goes. They're using our tax dollars to keep houses off the market artificially, keep the prices high. They're using your and my money, if you're in America, to keep houses off of the market so that the supply stays as finite as possible. Literally keeping the housing price high, barring average person's points of entry. That is where, the insanity behind it. And BlackRock, they have the Blackstone subsidiary that's been leaning into not regular nuclear family, 4-bedroom houses. They've been leaning into Section 8 housing. They're leaning into the idea that things are about to get exponentially worse for the average person in America. And now debt reliance, credit card reliance to pay your average bills is exploding. This is why I crypto so much, is because they don't see good things coming for the average person that's asleep right now. JR Electric knows what I'm talking about. Unfettered immigration. Yeah, keep rents high. Black water. Yeah, that's the other subsidiary. That's the privatized continuation of conflict on the backs of our money as well. That's happening in there. But there's so much to discuss when it comes to the housing sector and what the average person is going through right now. And we did have some mentions here that I did want to cover here on the show. It does look like there's also going to be an announcement. Like Trump, it seems like he's got all kinds of ideas for big announcements, maybe the biggest. Watcher Guru just came out with this. And it actually looks like there's going to be, let me pull it back up here. I want to go, we're going to raw dog. Maybe I shouldn't. Because every time I do that, that meme coin community comes after me. I got to be careful. Once you get to a point. All right. So Watcher Guru, Trump says that there's going to be an emergency meeting tomorrow about tariff rulings as well. Now, the Supreme Court has handed Trump a good bag of wins, but there is still contention within the courts on if he can roll out the tariffs that he's been doing. So that's still a sticking point. Really, Trump in epic late fashion. He's leaving us all waiting here.
Well, he's got to run from Walter Reed over back to the Oval Office.
Right. All right. I mean, and I don't even know if this is live. Look at this. This might be a scam imagery.
Well, I've got the Benny, what's his name? Benny Johnson, whatever his name. Yeah, I have Benny Johnson live too. He's trying to cover it, and there's it's not live yet. So I think they just have a placeholder. So
yeah. I want to catch this live though. I mean, I want to see what this is live in relevance. I'm more so culturally. I hope that, I do hope that, Chicago and the crime there within is cleaned up. We saw that there was good reduction to crime in Washington, D.C. And no, I'm not for a police state, but when you're in a Democrat controlled city that's turned into a slum because, your cops' hands are basically tied behind their back, then having a, commander in chief that's willing to take the bull by the horns is pretty useful in that situation.
All I got to say about it is if the National Guard can be activated to make sure people stay inside their house for something that the government released on its people, then I think the National Guard can also be activated in a non-state. It's a District of Columbia, but any state really where you're having, we should not be scared to go outside, or, we should not be scared. Like the women in our world, the kids in our world. I mean, especially what should be the pinnacle of America, which is the Capitol. It should be not something that needs to be cleaned up when big people come through. It should just be clean. Keep your home clean for yourself and also guest ready, right? The same thing is with the DC scenario, in my opinion. But I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah, it is a tough question. Because you see what happened to
they moved the meeting to tomorrow, apparently.
Oh, double check that. That. You see the stuff that we see. Like a good example is San Francisco, right? Elizabeth Warren, and then Nancy Pelosi, San Francisco. She's now leaning into buying all of the commercial real estate that's much, much cheaper after crime has taken hold. That's kind of her next big move. You collapse it, you collapse the system, you buy it up on the background, and you win. They say that Trump's insider trading over this meme coin debacle and all this complaints that Gavin Newsom has. Honestly, Nancy Pelosi is the true insider, right? I mean, a couple $100,000 a year salary, but somehow she amassed tens of millions of dollars.
Right, who is that?
Nancy Pelosi.
Nancy it's also Pelosi. What's the other ones? Iran Malmdani, whatever her name is, the Somali.
Imran.
Yeah, it just came out that when she initially went into public office, she had a minus $45,000. Basically, she had debt, and now she's got over $30 million. So you tell me. But here's the deal. This is not a Democrat thing. This is a Democrat, and this is a elected official thing. These people should not just be making money because they have inside knowledge on the different, subcommittees and committees that they sit on. It is asinine that they could do that and not list their different trades and different stuff. And they get a $200 fine. Meanwhile, they're locking people up, for, 10, 15 years for insider trading and stuff like that when it's on Wall Street. No, I mean, it's such a corrupted system that we live in.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
So right now, this is an expected announcement about a Department of Defense related announcement, right? It's set up for 2 p.m. They've delayed it multiple times and no communication has been provided by the White House. There's obviously hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people waiting to see Trump speak. It's over a half hour late, 45 minutes late, and there's been no communication from the White House. I mean, usually he's like 15, 20 minutes late. You know what I mean? This is going to give fuel to the fire of the Democrats saying that Trump is ill, right?
He's probably trolling them, but who knows? It'd be a bad thing if he was.
Yeah.
Especially I was talking about this earlier, especially considering like World Liberty Finance and all those things, although they're, I guess it's not a blind trust, but they technically is really the Sun's running it. Trump's name is very much attached to it. So if there were something that were to happen to him, I think all of those different assets that his name is tied to would probably take a pretty big spill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I know that they announced that the tariff Trump conversation was happening tomorrow. So I'm not not convinced that they're one and of the same. Let's see here. Green Day profits. Let's see here. Bam. Let's go here and check it out. It's from Walter Bloomberg. Apparently he's reporting live on it, giving us some information. So he's releasing apparently conversation that's being had by Trump right now. We're waiting for him to go live. So I'm interested in where that information is coming from. Let's see here. Trump finally on his 18th hole of golf. You know, the Air Force, the movement of Space Force HQ to Alabama would make sense too. The movement of that, you know, that is defense related. Jeez, DeFi, crypto, and airdrops. Shout out to you. He's over there at over 1,000% on World Liberty Fi liquidity pools right now. Massive fees being earned. He's out there just raking it in on that new token release. There's a lot of movement with the new token. There's no denying there's a lot of movement. You know what? This delay probably going to cause a little bit of shakeup on the charts here too, I'd imagine. Let's see here what the charts are looking like.
Trying to find more information while you do that.
110.1. 110.1. We may yet get that liquidity washout we're watching out for in the shorter time frame. Like it's going down, folks. Let's see here. A little bit more. It's not got too much more. Yeah, delay. Sell it all. It's over with. It's done. We're over. We are cooked. We are cooked. We're waiting for him to come. We're waiting on Trump to come out still. No major war news or anything like that. I think we'd see a lot more red on the market. But
well, there's a White House. Go to the White House stream.
All right.
Yeah, there's something on there. I don't know if it's live, but there are. I have it if you want to punch it to mine.
Yeah, let's punch it to yours here. I'll play it down. Bam, bam.
Can you hear it?
No. Maybe to unmute that.
Let me share the tab.
Is X just getting the feed faster? Oh, here we go. I got it. Here we go. Here we go.
The U.S. space
He's alive.
Will move to the beautiful locale of a place called Huntsville, Alabama, forever to be known from this point forward as Rocket City. Okay, so Huntsville, Alabama. We love Alabama.
He just names things.
By about 47 points. I don't think that influenced my decision, though, right? That didn't, right? But we had a lot of competition for this, and Alabama's getting it. Huntsville in particular. So congratulations, everybody. Katie, congratulations. This will result in more than 30,000 Alabama jobs and probably much more than that, and hundreds of millions of dollars of investment.
The Bitcoin price did pop right when he started talking.
Most importantly, this decision will help America defend and dominate the high frontier, as they call it. I want to thank Secretary Pete Hegseth. He's doing a fantastic job. And Secretary of the Air Force, Troy Mink. Troy, thank you very much. Great job you're doing, Troy. This is such a big deal. This is one that everybody wanted to know. What are you doing? I also want to thank Senators Katie Britt, and I want to give my condolences. Your grandmother, her grandmother just passed away. She was 100, right? 100, and she loves you, Mr. Well, and she was very proud of you. Thank you very much. Very, very proud of you. So thank you, Katie. Wonderful woman. She must have been. To produce you indirectly, I can tell you she had to be. Tommy Tuberville, who's a great coach. And I won't say anything about what happened with Alabama football this weekend. Let's leave that out. But you're not used to that, right? You're not used to that. But Tommy, Auburn won. That's right.
Oh my God! Shots fired.
You're happy.
Shots
Tommy's
fired.
been a great senator, and fantastic guy all around. He was also a tremendous coach. House Armed Services Committee Chair Mike Rogers. Thank you, Mike. Where's Mike?
Others chart also
Thank you very
pumping.
much. Doing great.
It's like
Mike.
there's okay. He's not dead.
Representatives Barry Moore, all great friends, Robert Adderholt, Gary Palmer, and Dale Strong. Thank you all very much, fellas. Appreciate it. In my first term, I created a thing called Space Force. So important. You know, we were losing the race in space very badly to China and to Russia. And now we're far and away #1 in space, and reestablished Space Com with a mission to protect American space assets and detect any threat to our homeland. We initially selected Huntsville for the Spacecom headquarters, yet those plans were wrongfully obstructed by the Biden administration. And as you know, they moved them to a different locale. And today we're moving forward with what we want to do and the place that we want to have this. And this will be there for hopefully hundreds of years. That's where it's going to be. I will say I want to thank Colorado. The problem I have with Colorado, one of the big problems, they do mail-in voting. They went to all mail-in voting. So they have automatically crooked elections.
Shots
And
fired.
we can't have that. When a state is for mail-in voting, that means they want dishonest elections, because that's what that means. So that played a big factor also. In Huntsville, Spacecom will play a key role in building the Golden Dome, as you know. That's going to be a big thing. Everybody wants to be a participant in it. Missile Defense Shield, we're going to be having a Golden Dome that the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. The finest, the best. And by the way, Canada called. They want to be a part of it, and that'll be great. But Canada wants very much to be included in that, and we're going to work something out with them, I hope. It will also ensure that our technological capabilities, of which we're way ahead of anybody else, there's nobody close, remain unmatched long into the future. So I'd like to ask Secretary Hegseth to say a few words. He was very much a part of it. And really, everybody behind me was. Every one of these people would call me and lobby me. I said, Katie, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I know what you want. She said, that's right, sir. That's what I want. And they got their way. So I just want to congratulate. These are really special people. They're politicians in many ways, but they're great patriots, I think even more so than politicians. So they fought very hard to get it, and it's an honor to give it to Huntsville. Pete, say a few words, please.
Pretty close to us.
Thank you, Mr. President. As usual, right place, right time, for the right reason. In your first administration, you established the Space Force at a time when we knew we had to be looking to that domain of space. You also reestablished Spacecom to ensure that priority was put in place. And you, through the Air Force, independently identified that Huntsville, Alabama was the right place to put it. For other reasons, in the next administration under Biden, they decided to move it somewhere else. Well, during that time, the DoD Inspector General, the Government Affairs Office, they did their own assessments. And where did they say Spacecom should go? Huntsville, Alabama. So what you're doing today, Mr. President, is restoring it to precisely where it should be based on what the Space Force, the Air Force, your leadership believes will give us strategic advantage in the future. That is Huntsville, Alabama. We are way ahead in space, but this will ensure we stay leaps and bounds ahead, because that's the most important domain. Whoever controls the skies will control the future of warfare. And Mr. President, today you're ensuring that happens. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Katie, would you like to say something?
Yeah, it's a good point. It is close to Florida.
Mr. President, we are grateful for your leadership on this and restoring Space Command to its rightful home in Huntsville, Alabama. This delegation has worked together, both chambers, both parties, to make sure that Huntsville was the place that Space Command called home. As was mentioned, obviously the Biden administration chose to make this political. What we want to do is put the safety and security of Americans first. We want to make sure that our warfighter is put first. And we want to make sure that America continues to lead. And today, Mr. President, you've allowed that to happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tommy, please.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. This is a great day for our country, not just for our state of Alabama.
I love the way people
We
talk.
need help in our military.
The best.
We need to catch up. And as Secretary Hegseth said, we're not behind in space, but we know where we're at, and we need to expound on that. Now, this move will save the taxpayers $480 million. It's not going to cost more. It's going to cut $480 million. We have the plans intact. It'll be behind a secure wall in Huntsville, Alabama, at Redstone Arsenal. We have 40,000 people there. We have the FBI there. We have missile defense there. We have NASA, Blue Origin, and SpaceX. It is the perfect place for Space Command. I would tell you today, and I've spoke with the president for the last 3 or 4 years about this. If I thought it needed to go somewhere else because I understand the security of our country, I'd be for that. But the best place for Space Command is Huntsville, Alabama, because what we have and what it means to this country is going to be so important. So thank you, Mr. President, for this. And we look forward to building a huge Space Command and having the Donald J. Trump Space Command Center in Huntsville, Alabama.
There's going to be a lot of jobs. There's going to be a lot of jobs for that area, dude.
Sure. Well, Mr. President, thank you. I'll be very brief here. I lobbied the president hard to put it in Ohio, but he said these people behind us, these Alabamas, are just too powerful and too persuasive. And so it's in Alabama. But as Tommy said, this is exactly the right place for Space Force and Space Command. I think Americans ought to appreciate the fact that you can't win the battle of the future unless you control the skies. The cyber security, the communications, the entire infrastructure of the battle in the 21st century will be in space. So it was a visionary move in the first administration for the president to set up Space Force. And I think an equally visionary move to make sure that Space Force is right where it should be in Huntsville, Alabama. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Gentlemen, anybody want to say anything? Would you like to say?
Mr. President, another promise made, another promise kept. You think about it, Redstone Arsenal is critical to national security. The president said when you were the 45th president, let's do what's right for national security. And today, that's exactly what we're doing. It's not because of this or that. It's because it's right for national security. You think of the 21 categories that were evaluated to determine what was best for national security. All indicators pointed back to Huntsville, Alabama, and Redstone Arsenal. We have the right people at the right place at the right time. Mr. President, on behalf of the people of the 5th Congressional District and all of Alabama, thank you for keeping your word. Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Anybody?
Let me just say, Mr. President, I want to say thank you. And thank you for doing this because it was the right thing to do. When they looked at all the numbers, Huntsville was the place to go. And like you say, it was unfortunately pulled out, but you made it right. So I want to just say thank you again for a grateful nation, and to the state of Alabama, we're very grateful. Thank you and God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Throughout history, militaries has always understood that whoever could hold the high ground held the advantage. Space is the ultimate high ground. And what we're doing with moving the Space Command to Huntsville is absolutely critical to our maintaining dominance in that sphere. And it goes hand in hand with what we're trying to do with the Golden Dome and missile defense to defend against anyone else who tries to enter that sphere. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Please.
Thank you, Mr. President. And obviously, national defense is a huge issue. And when you look at the scores, Alabama was #1. And for political reasons, it was moved out of our state. But Mr. President, thank you for making priorities the defense and the warfighter and the safety of this nation. And in the big, beautiful bill, that Golden Dome will be built in Huntsville, Alabama, and we're grateful for that. Thank you.
Did they make this?
Listen, as chairman of the Armed Services,
Trump is like Oprah with talking gigs. He's like, and you get a turn, and you get a turn. Where's the janitor?
Held a nationwide competition to determine where we should have this command. If y'all remember, at the end of that competition, where Alabama came in first, there was a lot of complaints from the other states who did not place well. He said, we'll do it over with new criteria to accommodate your concerns. Alabama came in first in that second competition. His Secretary of the Air Force reviewed the results, said it was fair, and the president named Huntsville. It was the Biden administration that decided to make it political, even though his own Secretary of the Air Force said it was a fair competition and it should be in Huntsville. So I want you to know I appreciate this president standing up and being strong.
It was an internal struggle for a few years. Biden blocking it to Alabama. They all knew it needed to go. So this is like a little,
Thank you all very much.
got him. Got you, Democrat
You're
moment.
not going to call me anymore and talk about this subject, right? You promise? They'll start something else. But I just want to congratulate you. It's a very big deal. When you come out and when you leave the room, you'll see that we just over the last few minutes literally shot out a boat, a drug carrying boat, a lot of drugs in that boat. And you'll be seeing that and you'll be reading about that. It just happened moments ago. And our great general, head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who's been so incredible, including what took place in Iran, knocking out potential nuclear power for a long time to come. I think within a month they would have had it. We didn't do what we did. But he gave us a little bit of a briefing, and you'll see. And there's more where that came from. We have a lot of drugs pouring into our country, coming in for a long time. And we just, these came out of Venezuela and coming out very heavily from Venezuela. A lot of things are coming out of Venezuela. So we took it out, and you'll get to see that after this meeting is over. Do you have any questions, please? Yeah, please.
Senator Tuberville talked about the cost
Markets didn't move. I mean, they went up and down. They're literally right back to where they were.
There was a pump on a 3-minute candle, but I mean, it's nothing.
Like, he's alive.
Well,
Right,
it just
I'll
works
sell it.
because we have so much else there. And having a central, you could call it a central command, but it really is a command station. Also, even locationally, where it is, and when you think about flying distances, if you can save a half an hour as fast as some of these planes go and things go, and even the rockets go, if you can save by having the best location. So we went out, as you know, to experts, and we had,
I'm sure, also
4 different groups of
shipping,
experts. They all said this was the best
transport, getting
location.
materials there by water
I also
is
loved it from the standpoint, I know the
incredibly
people of
more
Alabama,
beneficial.
they are great people, work hard, and there's no games, and they're very proud of it. And I would say they fought harder for it than anybody else also. A lot of states, 5 states really wanted it, but they wanted it more. And I kid you not when I say that these people, they spoke to me a lot. That's all they wanted to talk about. They didn't want to talk about the weather. They only wanted to talk about moving to this location, moving to Alabama, Huntsville in particular. So we're honored to do it. They really wanted it badly, and they got it. Peter?
President Trump, something completely different, but about a big viral social media trend over the weekend. How did you find out over the weekend that you were dead? You see that?
No.
People didn't see it for a couple days. 1.3 million user engagements as of Saturday morning about your demise.
Really? I didn't see that. You know, I have heard, it's sort of crazy, but last week I did numerous news conferences, all successful. They went very well, like this is going very well. And then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said, there must be something wrong with him. Biden wouldn't do them for months. You wouldn't see him. And nobody ever said there was ever anything wrong with him. And we know he wasn't in the greatest of shape. No, I heard that. I get reports. Now, you knew I did an interview that lasted for about an hour and a half with somebody, and everybody saw that was on one of your competitors. I did numerous shows, and also did a number of truths, long truths, I think pretty poignant truths. No, I was very active over the weekend. They also knew I went out to visit some people at the club that I own pretty nearby on the Potomac River. And no, I've been very active actually over the weekend. I didn't hear that one. That's pretty serious stuff.
I'm
Well, it's
longing
fake
in
news.
this
You know, it's
garbage.
just so,
I'm longing.
it's so fake. That's why the media has so little credibility. I knew they were saying like, is he okay? How's he feeling? What's wrong? I said, I just left. And it's also sort of a longer weekend, you know, it's Labor Day weekend. So I would say a lot of people know I was very active this Labor Day. I had heard that, but I didn't hear it to that extent. Go ahead, Peter.
Something else. We know that this country has a huge problem with school shootings. You've said that you're open to sending the National Guard pretty much anywhere. Would you ever consider sending an armed National Guardsman to every school?
Well, we have a big problem with school shooting, but we also have thousands and thousands of schools that run perfectly. You know, they talk about you can do things construction-wise, and that's really I think nobody knows more about construction than me. You can build the construction doors. You can build what they call safety doors, where they lock on the outside, the inside, and every place else. Well, but if one of these lunatics happens to get through, then the police can't get in. Then they're looking for keys all over the place, and it takes a lot of disadvantages to doing, spending billions and billions of dollars and actually making it safer in some way for some of these lunatics that we're dealing with. But I don't think so. I've thrown out the concept. We have great teachers that love our children. The parents love the children. Teachers love the children too. And if you took a small percentage of those teachers that were in the military, that were distinguished in the military, that were in the National Guard, et cetera, and you let them carry, that's something that a lot of people like. I sort of liked it. I'd have to be studied, but they're trained. They know about weapons. You can't do it with every teacher because most teachers don't know, and but I always thought that would be an alternative. But it just we've had a lot of instances. Other countries have also. They have different kinds of problems than we have, but we do have. There's something going on. And it's a bad thing. Yes, please.
Have you spoken with President Putin in the past week? Have you spoken with President Putin?
Yeah, I don't want to. I have learned things that will be very interesting. I think in the next few days you'll find out.
Will there be any consequences if there isn't some type of announcement of a meeting with President Putin and President Zelensky?
Yeah, there will be. We're going to see what happens. We're going to see what they do and what happens. I'm watching it very closely. Last week, they lost 7,000 between the two countries, 7,313 soldiers, to be somewhat exact, for no reason whatsoever. And they're Russian and they're Ukrainian, but, they're soldiers. I want to see it end. Yeah.
Mr. President, have you decided you're definitely going to send National Guard troops to Chicago?
I didn't say when, but the answer is, look, Chicago's very interesting because I watched Pritzker get up and say we don't need help, we're safe. But 2 weeks ago, they had 6 people murdered, and they had 24 people hit by bullets. Last week, as you know, it was 7 people, 24 people hit, and 7 people died. And then over the last 2 days, that was the crown jewel. They had, I guess, 9 or 10 killed, and 50 hit with bullets. And you have this governor get up, who's a terrible governor. Probably he and Gavin Newsom would be probably the 2 worst and most naive. They're naive. Either they're naive or they're very untruthful. And he'll say, we don't want any protection. We don't need. So in the last 3 weeks, he's lost almost 20 people killed. There's no place in the world.
That's pretty crazy.
Including you can go to Afghanistan, you can go to places that you would think of. They don't even come close to this. Chicago is a hellhole right now. Baltimore is a hellhole right now. Parts of Los Angeles are terrible. If we didn't put out the fires, and I mean the other fires, the bullet fires, they didn't do a good job with it. They should have had the water coming down, like I said. We had to release the water. We had to go in and release the water to LA. It's so badly run. But if I didn't send the National Guard into Los Angeles, I would be making an announcement today. I'd be talking about Huntsville, and I'd simultaneously be saying, by the way, the Olympics is not coming to Los Angeles. If we didn't do that, and even the sheriff, the top law enforcement person in Los Angeles said, we could not have handled it without them. So that's what he said.
Make your mind up on Chicago, though?
Well, we're going in. I didn't say when. We're going in. When you lose, look, I have an obligation. This isn't a political thing. I have an obligation. When we lose, when 20 people are killed over the last 2.5 weeks, and 75 are shot with bullets. So let me tell you a little story about a place called D.C., District of Columbia, right here where we are. It's now a safe zone. We have no crime. It's in such great shape. You can go and actually walk with your children, your wife, your husband. You can walk right down the middle of the street. You're not going to be shot, Peter. You're safe. Everyone likes you anyway. They probably wouldn't do it. But it's so dangerous. And there are people in this audience you've suffered greatly. There are people in this audience that have been mugged and hurt badly, and they don't want to talk about it. Maybe you were very brave in talking about it. You made quite an impression on a lot of people. I appreciate it. But there were other people in this room that have been hurt very badly just walking down the street in D.C. Washington, D.C. is a safe zone right now. It's a safe city. The restaurants are open. They're booming. You can't get a restaurant. New restaurants are announcing that they're going to be open. This took place in 12 days. Now it's 15 days, but 3 days ago, it became what's known as a safe zone. It's a safe city. And this city was really bad, really, really bad. We took 1,600 people out, hardcore criminals that will not be coming back anytime soon. And we're very proud of it. You know, to have our nation's capital lose every week, you know, it was like years, many years where every single week somebody was killed for many consecutive weeks. This went on for years. And then we had last week, it was announced that nobody was killed last week. And I made that announcement in front of a very distinguished leader of a country. And I'm saying proudly, ladies and gentlemen, nobody was killed in Washington, D.C. this week. He looked at me like, what's that all about? I say, yeah, we have a little bit of a crime problem. And we don't have a crime problem in Washington anymore. And the mayor has been very helpful. And the police commission has been very helpful. And it's been a great team. And I would love to have Governor Pritzker call me. I'd gain respect for him and say, we do have a problem. And we'd love you to send in the troops because you know what? The people, they have to be protected. I saw today on one of your networks, not a friendly network, except really the opposite, I would say, very unfriendly network. And they interviewed about 12 people on this morning. Most of them were African American, they were Black. And they were saying, please, please, please let the president send in. These were people from Chicago. Please, we need help. We need help. We can't walk outside. We're petrified. If the governor of Illinois would call me up, I would love to do it. Now, we're going to do it anyway. We have the right to do it because I have an obligation to
We're going to
protect
do it
this
anyway.
country. And that includes Baltimore. I saw where Governor Moore was asking me to take a walk down the street of Baltimore. Well, Baltimore is a very unsafe place. It's rated number 4 in the city, one of the most unsafe places anywhere in the world. But, you know, we took care. This was a beautiful thing that happened in Washington because we showed that it could be done. And this wasn't just sending big, strong guys, and they are big and they are strong. You know, we had a great decision from the Supreme Court that had to do with sort of talent. It had to do with you are put down based on merit. You can hire based on merit. So merit for a soldier or for a policeman is strong, physically fit, having a certain ability, not a person that is woke and got the job through woke, but wasn't strong enough to lift a gun out of the holster, et cetera, et cetera. No, I looked at the police. As you know, last week I went over, we had a meeting there had to be 300 people, and they were all very impressive looking. And when the bad guys see them, they're not going to do a thing. And so I'm very proud of Washington. It serves as a template, and we're going to do it elsewhere. But Chicago is certainly going to be high. I would love to have him call. I would love the governor of Illinois. I'd be honored to take his call. All he has to do is say, sir, we need help. It's out of control. And everyone knows it is. He's not kidding anyone. I would love to have, I would say, Governor Moore call, because I watched him over the weekend trying to explain that Baltimore, what they need is housing. No, they don't need housing. They need to get rid of the criminals. These are hardcore criminals. You know, we took many people off the streets of Washington, D.C. They're hardcore. They're not going to be good. In 10 years, in 20 years, in 2 years, they're going to be criminals. They were born to be criminals, frankly. They were born to be criminals, and they're tough and mean, and they'll cut your throat, and they won't even think about it the next day. They won't even remember that they did it. And we're not going to have those people. Washington, D.C. is now a safe zone. It's a safe place. And you can walk, Katie, you can walk right down the street with, by the way, one of the biggest human beings I've ever seen, which is her husband. He was a football player for like 11 years in the NFL. He's a big person. But big doesn't mean anything when they have guns and when they have knives and everything else that they have, right? But you can walk right down the street, even by yourself, and you're totally safe. Washington, D.C. is a great thing. Yes, ma'am, please.
Just going off on it.
Across
Jesus.
the country to work with you on crime. Do you see your efforts here in DC, including, for example, working with Mayor Bowser here as a model for bringing more bipartisanship in matters not only with crime, but also issues that matter to everyday American people's lives?
So Mayor Bowser has been great. She could have taken the thing, oh, well, and then after I clean it up, they'll take credit for it. You know what they do is they take credit. Like we cleaned up Los Angeles. We did a great job there. And it was overwhelming what was going on. And again, the police chief made a statement that we could not have done, there's no way they could handle it. You saw what was happening out there. It was going to be a disaster. We stopped it cold. If we didn't do that, would have been a very sad day. And you know, remember, we have the Olympics, we have the World Cup, we have all these things coming, and we have 250, all of these things coming. But I watched Newsom get up and say he's doing a great. He's not. We're the ones that did it, and that's okay, whatever it takes. But
you're gonna trash the meme coin.
But he got up and said, "We did it." Well, he didn't want us there, and he's going to need us again because it's starting to form again. I see it. It's starting to form again. You know, we have to maintain. It's like maintenance on an airplane. You can buy it, but you have to maintain it. And if you don't maintain it, a good plane becomes very unsafe very quickly. So it's an honor to do it. It's a lot of presidents wouldn't do what I'm doing. I don't need this heat. But when I watched television last night and I'm watching the news and I see that 9 people were killed in Chicago and 54 were badly wounded with bullets. I say, that's not this country. We have to do something. And I do say this, I say this very much. I'm not speaking to anybody but them right now. I would love to receive calls from governors and mayors saying they need help. We'll help them. We have a lot of people. We have a great force. We have a great military force. You know,
we've fallen and we can't get
Pete
up.
will tell you that when I was running for office, and this was a big headline, I think, you know, probably got me a couple of votes, but you couldn't sign people in the military. Nobody wanted to join the military, the Army, Air Force, the Navy, Marines, Space Force, Coast Guard. We never forget Coast Guard because they've done such a great job. Never. But nobody wanted to join any of them. We were way below what we wanted. Every single one. The closest was the Marines, whatever that is. You'll explain that to me. But the closest was the Marines. But every service was way down, way down. And then I got elected, and our country is the hottest country anywhere in the world right now. Everybody's talking about the USA. They're talking about the job that we're doing. Everybody. We have the best economy. We have a very, very important decision being made by the Supreme Court because our country is the richest, the strongest, the most powerful. But if for some reason, some liberal court, I'm talking about the court that just ruled, where even an Obama judge voted in favor of us, which I gave him a compliment yesterday, as you know. I said that took great courage. But it's a liberal court, and it's going up to the Supreme Court, who I think have been incredible people. I think they've made very wise decisions. But the tariff question, because without the tariffs, this country is in serious, serious trouble. We've taken in almost $17 trillion of investment is coming in. Most of it is coming because of tariffs.
17 trillion.
If for some reason somebody wanted to be politically correct, I actually think it's unpolitically correct. I think politically correct is to approve it because there's nothing so popular as what's happened to our country. Our country is doing so well. But we had a liberal court gave us a very shocking ruling. And that ruling is basically saying that the trillions of dollars that are pouring into our country, putting us in a position like no country is anywhere in the world, that they'd like to see us that taken away. By the way, a lot of the people behind that lawsuit, that particular, are from foreign countries. I might add.
There's a video that is circulating online now of the White House where a window is open to the residents upstairs and somebody is throwing a big bag out the window. Have you seen this?
No, that's probably AI generated.
So
actually, you can't open the windows. You know why? They're all heavily armored and bulletproof.
So that's a fake video.
Well, it's got to be because I know every window up there. The last place I'd be doing it is that because there's cameras all over the place, right? Including yours. No, but every window, I've never seen a window that's, in fact, my wife was complaining about it the other day. She said, love to have a little fresh air come in, but you can't. They're bulletproof. And number one, they're sealed. And number two, each window weighs about 600 pounds. You have to be pretty strong to open them up. No, that has to be, where was the window? Let me see.
Oh, I love it. Let me see.
I want to see that $17 trillion investment number verified somewhere too. Like, That's a
Which is the window?
$17 trillion. I know that there was like
The 15th Street side.
5 or 6 trillion between UAE
those
and all
windows are
the
sealed.
Arab nations,
Those
and we
windows
should
are-
try
They're
to
all sealed. You can't open them.
find that up and actually get that
It's the
verified.
kind of
That's-
thing they do. And one of the problems we have with AI, it's both good and bad. If something happens really bad, just blame AI. But also they create things, it works both ways. If something happens that's really bad, maybe I'll have to just blame AI. But there's truth to it because I see so many phony things. I saw something as I was growing up from the time I was a baby till now. I said,
baby,
who did that? It was AI generated. So it's a little bit scary, to be honest with you. But those windows are all very heavily sealed.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to follow up with what you were saying regarding that federal appellate court that ruled against you and your administration as it relates to your ability.
Well, they ruled against our country, the court, and they ruled against us before. It's a very liberal court.
Partisan in your
Well, it
social
certainly
media
is.
posts.
It certainly
And in
is.
fact, it was along ideological lines, 7-4.
Well, except that we actually got one of the Obama judges that was appointed by President Obama voted in favor of the tariffs because he felt it was imperative for our country to thrive and survive even. And I gave him credit. I said, you know what? That took a lot of courage for him to do it because you don't see that often.
So my question is, I imagine, I suspect you're going to appeal that all the way to the Supreme Court.
Well, we already have. Yeah. In fact, we're doing something else. We're going to be going to the Supreme Court, we think tomorrow, because we need an early decision. I mean, look, the financial fabric of our country, we're a rich, incredible country right now. And we're able to, other countries use tariffs on us for years, and we never did. I did a lot during my first term, but then we had COVID and we had to focus on other things. You couldn't be tariffing Italy, Spain, France, as they were dying by the thousands and millions. But we did with China, and China paid us billions and billions of dollars. And I started the process, but then I had to end it a little bit because of COVID. We focused on that. But no, it's a very important decision. And frankly, if they make the wrong decision, it would be a devastation for our country. We've taken in trillions of dollars. And by the way, all these countries signed agreements as an example.
So
They signed, they're all happy. Everybody's happy. But some whack job put in a lawsuit. It went before a very liberal court, and the liberal court ruled, it was 11, they ruled 7-4, with one of the most liberal of them all voting in our favor because they're patriots. I think I give tremendous credit to that judge. And now it's going to the Supreme Court. Now we're going to be asking for early admittance. We're going tomorrow, and we're going to ask for an expedited ruling because, when you look at the stock market's down today, the stock market's down because of that, because the stock market needs the tariffs. They want the tariffs. If you look at AI, all of those, all of that money that's going to be invested, trillions and trillions of dollars, the biggest thing, bigger than the internet, I suspect. It's the internet plus 3 or 4 other things combined. We are leading very substantially with AI. We're leading because of tariffs. We're leading because of talent, and this is where they'd like to be. But without the tariffs, we wouldn't have a chance because we wouldn't be able to protect those investments of the companies coming in. So if you took away tariffs, we could end up being a third world country. That's how big the ruling. So we're asking for an expedited ruling.
As a backstop to that, President, you have a Republican-controlled Congress. You control the House. You control the Senate.
Yeah, but we don't have 60 votes. We don't have 60 votes.
You
I'd
don't
love to
think you
do
could get
that.
enough
Oh, if
votes?
we had 60 senators, if we got the 60 votes, we would get them. But we need 60 votes, and we need a certain number in the House. I think we'd get. I don't know. We have about 5 of them here. Would everybody agree with me on tariffs? Without tariffs, we're a different country. We have taken in so much money, and here's the thing. We signed a deal with Japan. They're paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. We signed a deal with South Korea. We signed a deal with the European Union. We signed a deal with Europe. And those countries are paying us $950 billion, and they're happy about it. They're okay. As one of them said, it's amazing that we got away with it so long. One of my friends, a leader of one of the countries, and they're fine with it. They all signed. If that ruling ever went against us, I guess would have to give back hundreds of billions. We would have to give trillions and trillions of dollars back to countries that have been ripping us off for the last 35 years. And I can't imagine it happening. On a legal basis, they have no legal basis whatsoever. But on a common sense basis, it would destroy America. Okay.
You talked about controlling the sky. On Sunday, the satellite signal of Ursula von der Leyen's plane was led.
With Ursula? Well, she had an interesting event. She's a tremendous woman. And so what are you asking me about her?
NATO is concerned about 92 about this.
NATO is concerned about it. Well, nobody knows where it came from, but they did take away her ability to use a phone. You know, sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that could happen to me. I'd be very happy.
Mr. President, reducing the tariffs on India from 50%.
What does that mean?
Are you considering taking away some of the tariffs that you've imposed on India?
No, we get along with India very well, but India has, you have to understand, for many years, it was a one-sided relationship. Only now, since I came along, and because of the power that we have with tariffs, India was charging us tremendous tariffs, about the highest in the world. They were about the highest in the world, number one.
Announcements coming tomorrow,
And
too.
We therefore weren't doing much business with India, but they were doing business with us because we weren't charging them. Foolishly, we weren't charging them. So they would send in massive, everything they made, they'd send it in, pour it into our country. Therefore, it wouldn't be made here, which is a negative. But we would not send in anything because they were charging us 100% tariffs. And, I'll give you an example. Harley Davidson couldn't sell into India. There was a 200% tariff on a motorcycle. So what happens? Harley Davidson went to India and built a motorcycle plant. And now they don't have to pay tariffs. Same thing as us. So what we're doing is literally thousands of companies are coming into the U.S., car companies, AI, but, more traditionally car companies. We have so many car company factories under construction or being designed right now. And they're coming from China. They're coming from Mexico, I must tell you, and they're coming from Canada. A lot of them coming from Canada. But they're coming into our country because they want to build here. And they want to build here for two reasons. Number one, they'd like to be here. And number two, the tariffs are protecting them. And number three, they want to avoid paying tariffs. When they build their cars here, they don't have any tariffs to pay. When you build here, you don't have any tariffs.
Mr. President,
Go ahead,
in
please.
light of the Minnesota shooting last week, the Department of Homeland Security is now awarding more than $100 million to hundreds of faith organizations across the country to help them ramp up security. What's your vision for further protecting religious liberty across the country amid incidents of threats? And
So
violence?
religious liberty is so important. And we're talking about every religion now. And we're doing things on that nobody else has ever done. And we're going to be having a big announcement in about 2 weeks on that question. Yeah, please.
On Space Command, sir, are you concerned that people may not be?
What the original press conference is about.
No, I'm not worried.
Okay.
Then we'll get somebody else.
Jesus.
I mean, the problem with Colorado is they have a very corrupt voting system. They look.
He's
I have
really
so
going out
many
to
friends in
Colorado.
Colorado. Anytime you have mail-in voting, you have corrupt elections. Very simple. It's very simple. Even Jimmy Carter said it with his commission. They set up a commission with him and Scoop Jackson and some people, highly regarded people. And they said the finding was, if you have mail-in voting, you will have corrupt elections. Well, your radical left governor decided that he was going to have all mail-in voting in Colorado. Once you have all mail-in voting, and for whatever reason, the Democrats cheat. And they cheat like, they're not stupid. That's the only thing. They're no good on policy. They're no good on management. They're no good at government, but they're great at cheating. And they stick together too. I give them credit for sticking together. Please.
Obviously, this is a big win for national security, moving this to Alabama. We've all can agree with that.
Big.
Is there any idea of the economic impact this has on the state and on that local area?
Katie, do you want to answer that?
Look, I mean,
Please go.
This is going to be tremendous. I mean, the state of Alabama, what we've seen through this process is the worst of Washington. We've seen politics get in the way of what is best for the warfighter, what's best for national security. And the state of Alabama is about to show the country the best among us. So we know the economic impact is going to be tremendous. There at Redstone Arsenal, we're proud to house everything from the FBI to headquarters there for material command to a number of things. We obviously have NASA with Marshall Space Flight Center. And so this naturally fits within. When you look at the decision matrix that they placed in front of us, that's why we ranked so high, is because we have the resources necessary and the ability to build out quickly to meet the needs in front of us. As far as economic impact, it would be tremendous. Does anybody have an exact number? 1,600 jobs. With 3,000 spinoff. Look at this. This is teamwork right here. So we are really proud, and the people of Alabama are ready to get to work.
And I've got a housing question, if you could, just for a second, Mr.
Yeah,
President.
please.
Owning a home and going about the American dream seems like it's out of touch for a lot of Americans. Just recently, you pushed out a statement about addressing an emergency housing situation.
That's right. We're thinking about doing that.
Yeah, can you just?
Well, we need a little help from the Fed. We have a man named Jerome Too Late Powell. You probably heard of him. He's too late. He's way too late. And the economy is so strong that it's pushing through that. Normally, it would have been much tougher, but we're doing so well that we're pushing through it. But it makes it very hard for people to get mortgages because too late is too late. Very simple. He's too late. And probably political, whatever. He wasn't too late before the election. Before the election, he was cutting rates, right? Because he was hoping that, I guess, Biden would get in, or that Kamala would. He was a big Biden guy. Explain that one. And then he was a Kamala person, but he was hoping, I guess, she'd win. I guess. I don't know. It didn't work out too well. But yeah, we need a very serious cut. You know, I think that if you look back many decades ago, the United States was always the lowest, even if they were doing badly. The United States was, because without the United States, everything in the world would die. It's true. It's so powerful. It's so big. And I made it really big in the first 4 years. Then it started to degenerate with what this Biden administration did. But we built it up to a level that I never thought we could be at this quickly. We're the hottest, we're the best financially. The money coming in is so big because of tariffs and other things, but because of tariffs. Tariff gets us even those other things. Plus, it gets us great negotiators. I settled 7 wars, and numerous of those wars were because of trade. And numerous of the trade deals that I made were because of tariffs. It gives you a great negotiating ability. If that ability were taken away from us by a liberal court acting on essentially foreign nations, asking to get help from the United States government, when they've been doing this to us for 40 years, that's why we have $38 trillion in debt. We won't have it for long if they let us, if they allow us to do what everybody knows we should be able to do. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, another Biden era action that you're now reversing is that you signed a deal last week to make federal buildings adopt and embrace classical architecture styles again. Can you talk to us about why you do that, and also what's your vision?
Well, we want to see beautiful buildings. Now, you know, it's in the eye of the beholder. I've seen architectural reviews over the years. I'm an expert at it. I've gotten a lot of great reviews, but I've seen buildings that I didn't think were very good get great reviews, and I've seen great buildings get bad reviews. So, but it's just a standard. We want to have a good standard. We're building something here, you know, for 150 years, they wanted a ballroom at the White House. We're doing something at the highest level using great architects and all. And, you know, it's very exciting. But we have a lot of interesting things happening architecturally in DC. And DC is like a different place. And, you know, even the contractor said, sir, we walked down today, we feel like much safer. It's like a different place. Washington, D.C. is great. Now we're going to also beautify it. We're going to put a topping on the roads. We're not going to rip them apart and take 4 years to build a road that was exactly the same by the time you build it. But we're going to put toppings. We're going to put new medians in. We're going to get the graffiti off. We're going to put tiles up in the tunnels where the tiles are missing. And we'll do the whole tunnel instead of, you know, a little area where you see new tiles, old tiles that never look too good, but they could use it. You know, they've been up 50 years. They've served their duty. But we're going to make this within about a 20-mile radius from the White House. we're going to have this place spick and span. It's going to be crime free, and it's going to be spick and span. It's going to be, you'll be proud of Washington again. Go ahead, please.
Sir,
That'd be
China's
nice.
having a massive military parade that President Putin and Kim Jong-un will be attending. Do you interpret that as a challenge to this? And are you
No.
concerned at all about those countries?
No.
Trying to be some sort of counterweight?
Not at all. China needs us, and I have a very good relationship with President Xi, as you know, but China needs us much more than we need them. No, I don't see that at all. No. And I had actually a very good meeting with President Putin a couple of weeks ago. We'll see if anything comes out of it. If it doesn't, we'll take a different stance.
Everyone March today in California ruled that your deployment of National Guard troops to Los Angeles was illegal. Do you have any response?
Well,
reaction to that?
it was a radical left judge, but very importantly, what did you not tell me in that question or statement that you made? Pretty much. a
BTC
statement.
trying to pump out of it.
No, you didn't say what the judge said, though. The judge said, but you can leave the 300 people that you already have in place. They can continue to be in place. That's all we need. But why didn't you put that as part of your statement? Because the same judge ruled exactly as you said, except the judge said that you could leave the 300 people that you already have in place. They can stay, they can remain, they can do what they have to do. Thank you very much, everybody. We appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, well, as he's ending up, we got gold going to friggin' all-time highs. Jesus. I think gold is signaling where this is going, you guys. This is a collapse up. Trust between nations whittled to zero. You know, absolutely great. And you know what? A little bit of a disappointment there. Nothing too chaotic, he said. Really, for the markets, pretty flatline for the time being. Is he sick, though? That's the question the Democrats keep bringing up. He didn't seem too under the weather to me, but maybe it's, you know, we've already talked about the double capabilities that this government has, so who knows? And honestly, I think he's just fine. I think he's alive. You know, what we're seeing is really overhype, honestly. Like the amount of money that's come into the U.S. verifiably so far is about $53 billion, right? So this is about $10 trillion or more being pledged over long-term timeframes, but this is a solid increase, not living up to all the hype. So that's just kind of interesting how he's kind of spinning that way. But, you know, I really think that we're actually sitting pretty nicely in terms of Bitcoin, holding up some structural integrity. Honestly, Trump just came out. Not a big amount of worry came out of that conversation. Things are sitting all right with Putin. We are looking to cut rates and kick this housing market over. And also we're cleaning up city center streets that are ridden with crime right now. So we're not that bad of a situation, honestly. It doesn't feel like we're going to zero. Let me know in the comments. You think Trump skirting around World Liberty Fry is something we should be watching out for? Or is he leaving it to his sons to keep it running? Honestly, I'm not too upset about seeing crime be fixed in America. Some of those city centers are complete messes. And I live just outside of Atlanta, and I honestly hate taking my family into Atlanta. So with that being said, I'm going to appreciate you. Stay safe, stay base, and we'll catch you on the next one. Hopefully the next crash out Trump gives us tomorrow isn't a downward spiral down to $60,000 Bitcoin. But until then, I love and appreciate every single one of you out there, and I will see you on the next one.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.